We're live.
Oh, we are live. Holy crap. Hey, what's good, y'all? It's the Chillmeister J. Christian Gary. If you were waiting for the stream to start, we're sorry for the delay. But still, though, this is another episode of Focus Fights Audio. I am obviously J. Christian Gary, and out to my west, well, yeah, is Jay Wolf.
What's good, y'all? How you doing?
Yeah, man. How are you? And from your point of view, how was RIZIN Landmark 9?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a lovely Easter weekend. I want to say happy Easter, everybody. And, Christ is Lord, Christ is risen. He's risen indeed. Everybody celebrates. Have a blessed weekend with your family. And RIZIN Landmark 9 was a fantastic show. I really enjoyed it. We had to watch on the RIZIN live stream from Japan this time, right? Because it was the RIZIN.TV stream. They were working on it, trying to upgrade it and stuff and work out the kinks. So that was on a tape delay. It wasn't even available until this past Wednesday for replay on that. So we were all watching on the RIZIN Live Japanese stream. And I got to say, it was fantastic. The stream was mint HD. Loved it. And you could watch it from the prelims on, and I don't understand why they can't just use that feed for the RIZIN.TV feed, and then just like if they're gonna dub English audio over that instead of have cage side commentary, then just do the Zoom over that feed instead of doing a completely separate feed for RIZIN TV. But anyways, the stream was mint and it's a great show. The only problem I had with it, Jay Chris, because I said that I did a tweet on your post fight asking for what the best fights were and what your thoughts on the show was that the Japanese announcers, they kept talking over Lenny Hart's intros. That was like the only annoying part about the show. So, but other than that, man, it was a fantastic show, and really surprising that the kickboxing outshined the mixed martial arts, in my opinion. And that maybe it's because this month was like our good friend Daniel Zubicki, he coined it the golden kickboxing month, because there was a lot of fantastic kickboxing going on this month.
It's not just Becky, it's basically Tim Wheaton, who does coverage for Combat Press, saying that this month is the golden month of kickboxing, which I would have to agree, it is.
Oh yeah, did Tim Wheaton coin that term? Oh well, he's a good friend anyways too. So both whoever coined the term first, Tim Wheaton or Daniel Zubicki, I think it's spot on, because this is a fantastic month for kickboxing, culminating in this RIZIN Landmark 9 show, because the kickboxing on this show, it outshined the mixed martial arts, even though this is superior rule set mixed martial arts. So that's the first time I ever remember that happening, ever. It was just really good. It was really fun. So the mixed martial arts wasn't that bad. It just didn't have the superior rule set awesomeness like it normally does, except for the main event. But everything else was it was fantastic. So you want to get right into the show, or what? How do you want to start the show? From the kickboxing on, from the prelims on, or want to go from the top down for the main event?
Well, yeah, we can start by talking about the kickboxing fights first, and then go main event on down, because that's the format that we pretty much did last week, and I pretty much did the format with Andrew Benjamin on Thursday night, I think it was. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So you want to start from the main event? Let's get it going then.
Talk about the kickboxing fights first.
Oh, okay.
The kickboxing fights I have, the kickboxing fights are as follows, even though let's talk about the prelims first, and then the two main card fights we can talk about. Can we at least talk about the main card kickboxing bouts after?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we definitely will. Okay, yeah, so you want to start with the first kickboxing prelim. It was Daichi Akihira
Well,
versus Yuki Yoshioka.
let me run down the results, dude.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
For the kickboxing portion, Daichi Akihira defeated Daichi Akihira defeated Yuki Yoshioka via unanimous decision. Shun Matsuyama defeated Tenshin's boy, Shin Sakurai, via knockout, right straight, 155 of round number 3. And Yuto Uemura scored a shocking upset over star fighter Noda Aoi via referee stoppage, 135 of round 2. Then, of course, on the main card, the silent Shinkigeki, the silent killer Yuya, defeated Masaya Jaki via referee stoppage, 225 of round number 2. And of course, the result that everybody is talking about in the kickboxing world, well, especially us, Buakar Porpramuk, aka Buakar Banchamek, knocked out Minoru Philip Kimura via straight right hand, 1 minute 10 seconds of round number 2. It marked Kimura's first knockout. Let's just say, first knockout loss for Philip Minoru Kimura since September 25th, 2016, when he got embarrassed in 7 seconds by Felony Charles Bennett, even though it was an MMA fight.
Yeah, one of the meme fights of all time. That was hilarious. The Charles Crazy Horse Bennett or Charles Felony Bennett knockout of Kimura. That was absolutely hilarious. Go check that out if you haven't seen that yet.
Oh yes, definitely. But still, though, you want to talk about the kickboxing bouts and how they happen in full? I mean, I'm not stopping you. So, what were your thoughts about them?
I really enjoyed them. I mean, they were, and let's also get out there right away. It was in the cage. Landmark is the cage series events for the Epic RIZIN Fighting Federation, and the cage did not inhibit the kickboxing at all. It was fantastic. All these bouts were great. You know, they were bangers up until the finishes. Even the decision was a banger. So it was just, there was a lot of fun, and the cage did not inhibit it at all. And just, I really had a good time. I thought it was going to be, you know, because people, they like to hate on the cage, especially for when they're doing kickboxing in the cage. And we thought it was kind of strange in the preview show that they were doing 5 kickboxing bouts on a Landmark cage series event. So, but I mean, we figured out, you know, why they were doing that, because like Tim and Daniel were saying, this was the golden kickboxing month. And so that's why they wanted to load it up with a bunch of kickboxing fights, and which was trying to be a wise decision, because again, the cage had no negative effects on it at all, and all of them were bangers and arguably outshined the MMA. So I mean, the first one, Daichi Akihira versus Yuki Yoshioka, that one was, you know, it was a decision, only decision of the kickboxing bouts, and it was still a pretty good banger. Daichi Akihira won that one, so and it was a good little kickoff for the card. But then right away, right after that, all the kickboxing bouts, all finishes. I mean, and a lot of them, they were bangers up until the finish as well. I saw some people saying that a couple of them were arguably in the fight of the year candidate category. So I thought that was pretty impressive. But I mean, I don't want to go that far, but I'll just say, you know, especially culminating with the main one, Buakaw versus Kimura, that was obviously the main attraction of the kickboxing, and with good reason. It was, you know, they were speculating. Remember, Jay Krish, there was just a King K1 event, just like the week, you know, a couple days prior to this event, right? So, and that was the kickoff for the Max Grand Prix. It was like the round of 16, right? And they had all the fights, all the spots were determined except for a wild card spot. And there was talk saying that Buakaw would be the person to take the wild card spot, and especially if he got a win at this event. And the King K1 people were there live ringside at this Landmark 9 event. And they were taking pictures with, I mean, the crowd was taking pictures of them ringside. They were taking pictures backstage and everything. And So it was really nice to see, because there's like obviously like a cohesion there, like a collaboration with King K1 Kickboxing, and of course that the Epic RIZIN, they also collaborate with Rise as well, the other Japanese kickboxing promotion. So it's just really great to see. And of course, what we're talking about is that Max, the King K1 Max Grand Prix, that needed a wild card slot filled, was going to go to Buakaw, and they were, the King K1 people were tweeting about it and everything. So after Buakaw won, and it's looking like I know it's not been officially announced yet, but it's looking very strongly like Buakaw, with that sensational knockout victory of Kimura, that he punched his ticket to the King K1 Max Grand Prix, and he's going to get that wild card spot, and he's going to be facing the King K1 champion right now, Chinese kickboxer. So it's pretty exciting times. I got to tell you, Jay Krish, pretty exciting times for the kickboxing world. This year really is. With the return of King K1, it's really exciting. And then for the mixed martial arts portion of this card, I was until the main event, there was barely any superior rule set awesomeness. I was pretty upset. I was like, man, what is going on? Why aren't these guys throwing some more superior rule set strikes? They're letting the kick outshine them. And it's like, man, that should not, dude. Sakaki Bara-san and Shingo-san, they need to start giving out some kind of bonuses, or start giving yellow cards for like the fight that I'm thinking about is the Kintaro fight. Remember that one where he had him rocked several times, where he dropped him down, and he could have gone for soccer kicks or stomps, but he played it safe to get the decision win. Now, granted, I know he needed that decision win very badly because he was on a string of, he was on a bad little skid for a little bit. But, dude, that should have been a yellow. The third time that happened should have been a yellow card. But, okay, we'll get to that. We're on a kickboxing night right now. So
think of it. What you're saying, when it comes down to Buakaw, I did not know that he could possibly be a part of the K1 World Grand Prix because of that finish. But
yeah,
what about his potential fight with, Manny Pacquiao, even though it's an exhibition? Is that canceled?
Last I saw, I don't know. I think it was canceled, but I'm not sure. Maybe that could still be on. But I just know for a fact, Buakaw, with this knockout, he has opened up so many doors, avenues for him to go. But it's really looking like he might be going to the King K1 Max Grand Prix, taking that wild card spot. Because, like I said, they were there in attendance. Jay Krish, they were taking pictures of him backstage. They were tweeting about it, saying, talking about him being the wild card entrant to the Grand Prix. And it's like, with all of that happening, I can't see that not happening. And that's coming up in July. So that's only a couple months away. So I'm expecting them. I thought they were going to announce it right there in the ring. In the cage. I thought they were going to go right in the cage after that sensational knockout and announce it right there. And if they didn't right there, I thought they were going to do it at the intermission. Or at least at the post-fight presser. But none of that happened. So I guess it's technically still up in the air. But, it's looking like he's going to be the wild card entrant into the King K1 Max Grand Prix against their champion. So,
and come to think of it, that's only Pac-Mac. I am basically putting this right now, and good old Andrew is chiming in. The Pacquiao match is postponed. I'm sure he'd much rather have that match. And you know what? The fight that he'd much rather have, I know you may disagree with me on this, Andrew, is that Rukia Ampo came into the cage after the conclusion of the Kimura versus Buakaw fight. We all know the first time they competed was in a draw, so, maybe that fight happens.
Yeah, that's definitely another option. I was about to get to that. I'm glad you brought that up. If he's going to stick with RIZIN, and that could happen later on in the year as well, after he goes to the King K1 Max Grand Prix. And it's good to hear that the Pacquiao fight or exhibition has only been postponed and it's not off completely. So that's fantastic. There are so many great options for Buakaw right now. But if I had to guess, I guess that he's going to go to the King K1 Grand Prix, And then after that, depending on what's going on with Pacquiao, he'll either rematch Ampo in RIZIN, or he'll take the Pac-Man exhibition bout. And then after the Pac-Man exhibition bout, then he'll do the Ampo fight in RIZIN.
No, Andrew's fight should be off completely.
Which one? The Pacquiao?
I mean, I would have to think so, because of the fact that, it's nothing more but a money grab. You saw the rules for that fight, right?
Yeah, but I mean, clearly it's a money grab, but that's okay. More money for also he's doing is he still doing crossover with bare knuckle boxing?
I think that was a one and done.
Oh, okay. Because they have a kind of a synergy with the Epic RIZIN right now. John Dotson, a frequent RIZIN flyweight fighter, just fought there and retained his title last night. And he he's going to come back to the Epic RIZIN. And Sakaki Barasan, he was in Florida with Ren Hiramoto and another fighter that I wish I would have. I can't remember the exact name right now. But he was just recently released a training video that he was talking about fighting in bare knuckle. I forget what his damn, it makes me mad. I forget what his name is right now.
Yeah, but obviously Andrew was saying that the stupid Pacquiao fight had gone through the original date. He never would have fought Kimura, which is true. Because if you think about it, again, that was a money grab. If that would have happened as is, basically they would have said, the organizers would have said, hey, we're not going to be doing this. We understand that Buakaw is in trouble with the thing that happened with Pacquiao. So, basically that fight would have been called off. But I get what you mean about the bare knuckle thing when it comes down to Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson, because it's like I basically stated before, there's going to be a lot of crossover potential here. I mean, you got Yusuke Yachi and Bellator. You got, obviously, this. We haven't heard anything about RIZIN's involvement in Knucklemania, unfortunately. But we're gonna probably hear about it soon.
Yeah, because that's later this month or the next month or this month, whatever. I mean, it's pretty much April already, right? So later this month is when that Knucklemania show is supposed to happen.
I mean, yeah, you can pretty much say it, even though Monday marks the start of April, and obviously, next week is WrestleMania. Next week, for me, being a basketball fan, even though my UH Cougars couldn't get the job done, it's the Final Four.
Oh, nice.
But you can basically say there's a lot of shit happening in sports, and especially in combat sports, through the end of the month.
Yeah. I mean, next month. I mean, or this month, April, whatever. The kickoff of the PFL season starts. I know Andrew will like that. Andrew, if you're there, you should jump on this. You should just jump in this chat with us real quick. And
please join us. Or
yeah.
Listening to this right now, other than the supposed one person that's watching this, please join us.
Hey, one viewer, absolutely. Anybody else that listens later on, we still appreciate your listening. You don't have to listen live. Just as long as you listen, we appreciate it. So, but yeah.
Listen to or watch this damn thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, but I'm glad you brought up Yusuke Yachi. He's going over the Bellator, like you were saying. They're supposed to be sending people back over to the Epic RIZIN as well, hopefully. And I hope that they're not just going to say, oh, okay, well, you get to have Juan and Tofik back in exchange. I want some new people, some new faces from Bellator and PFL to come over to the Epic RIZIN. So we'll see how that plays out as well.
I mean, think of it. Did you see those shitty fight kits that the Bellator fighters are now rocking? Like, I hate to say they're just as bad as the UFC, but my God, they're terrible.
Yeah, that's a shame they don't get to have as many sponsors and stuff, but whatever. They want to give it the appearance of a league with uniforms and stuff like that. So I'm just glad they're still putting on the fights and haven't, completely folded the company yet, the Bellator company yet, which is probably scheduled to happen next year. But we'll see how that goes. There's a bunch of stuff that's got to happen first. So, but I just want to see who they're going to send over for Yachi. I want to see how that goes down. If it's going to be new people, is it going to be PFL people, or is it going to be the same Bellator fighters coming back over, like Tofik and Archuleta? Maybe that was part of the deal. Is that okay? If we let these guys go back over to compete, you got to send us somebody. So that's why they sent Yachi, because remember he had a fantastic showing on the Bellator post limbs for Bellator 237, I think it was Bellator Japan, and that was actually the pilot show, so to speak, of the superior rule set in the cage. And after Yachi scored that sensational soccer kick knockout, that's what kicked off the landmark series, the cage series events for the Epic RIZIN. Remember, first it was Trigger, and then it evolved into Landmark. So,
but before we continue, Drew's got a comment about Buakaw, saying Buakaw isn't exclusive to BKFC. He fought on their 2 Thai shows, so it's highly unlikely he'll fight for them again unless the show is in Thailand.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You never know. I'm not going to say never just because it's a non-exclusive or whatever. I mean, here you go, and they can come back to Thailand anytime. You never know. I mean, they're doing shows all over the place. You saw the BKFC schedule. Not only do they have the Knucklemania in April, they also have a Eastern European show at the beginning of the month. So he's going to be going. I mean, they're international and doing a massive tentpole event. So I mean, they could easily go to Thailand again, and if they do, I can see Buakaw fighting on there again, no problem. So.
Yeah. Just had an event in Bulgaria a couple of weeks ago, in addition to their show last week. Well, actually, a couple of days ago. Damn it, it's already escaped me. Damn thing just fell. But yeah, point of the matter is they just had a show last night in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So yeah, that's the place where they went to last night.
Yeah, it's like they're going back and forth. They're going to a show in the States, then they're going international, then they're coming back to the States. They flip back and forth. They do international and in the States. So it's a pretty cool promotion. Some of the fans in the Discord channel, the RIZIN Discord channel, they absolutely love it. And and I'm loving the collaboration that's going on. I love seeing John Dotson over there. I can't wait to see more BKFC fighters come over to Epic RIZIN. I'm excited to see is it going to be Ren Hiramoto or is it going to be the other guy? And hey, Andrew, if you're still listening, who is the other fighter that was with Ren Hiramoto and Sakakibara-san in Florida at the BKFC event that also just posts on not Instagram, but on Twitter, that he's training bare knuckle right now? It's like, I think it's a Shinzai something, I think. But it makes me so mad. I should have looked it up beforehand, knowing about that. I was going to talk about this with Buakaw, but that's okay. There's another Epic RIZIN fighter, kickboxing crossover fighter, that's going to be fighting in bare knuckle, possibly at the Knucklemania event that we're talking about right now. And if BKFC ever comes back to Thailand, I'd put money on Buakaw fighting there again. So I mean, it's just I'm loving that synergy and collaboration, and it's going to be, hopefully, I can't wait to see what other fighters come over. Maybe Eddie Alvarez returns to Japan. He's with BKFC right now as well. I mean, so many good fighters. So it's going to be really exciting to see how that relationship plays out. And
Yamamoto.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. Oh. Man, it's because we're live right now. I can't think of it, and I can't remember it right. But I mean,
wait. I think when you mentioned that, they did have. Ah, damn it! What am I trying to say? Now you got me all fucked up about this.
Don't enter, but I'm sure it will be known here shortly in plenty of time, and you guys will recognize him when it happens. So I'm anticipating it's going to happen. If he's in training right now, it could be even on the Knucklemania event, because that's at the end of April, right? So it could be for that one. It's probably not going to be on Bulgaria or some Eastern European country that they're doing next week. It's going to be for the Knucklemania in the end of April. So we'll see that news will be breaking really soon. And also, probably by the time we do a show for the Epic RIZIN 46, which is coming up next month as well, April 29th.
I think the person you're talking about is Tatsuki Shinosuke.
Yes, that sounds correct. He's got a bunch of tattoos and stuff on his face and stuff, kind of?
And all that. I think he might be the main one coming to America to fight on a BKFC show. He goes by MBS, which is Master Bridge Sound, or Rude Boy, as in
yeah, that's it. That's it.
OI.
That's it. So he's going to be probably on Knucklemania next month, and then Ren Hiramoto, we're probably after the Super RIZIN 3 show in the summertime. I could see him going over to BKFC as well, especially if he loses to Mikuru Azakura at Super RIZIN 3, because they put an extra little bet on that bout saying that the loser has to retire, right? So I could see that if Ren loses to Mikuru, I could definitely see him going to BKFC and saying, "Oh, okay, well, I'm just gonna go do this for a while," and to honor the little retirement bet type of thing. And then Mikuru, he's already making a bunch of money on Breaking Down, so if he loses, he can just be, all right, well, I'm going off to take care of Breaking Down then. So, but anyways, either way, it's going to be Rude Boy here at Knucklemania later on in April, and then later on in the year, we'll see if Ren Hiramoto goes to BKFC as well, and that's what he was doing in Florida with Sakakibara-san. And that would be a huge collaboration because Ren Hiramoto is one of the Epic RIZIN stars right now. So, I'm expecting, if he definitely goes over there, I'm expecting BKFC to give us somebody big, like a big time name, like I was saying, like Alvarez or Rockhold or somebody, just one of the big names that's in BKFC right now. So, because that's it should be a star for a star, basically, right? So we'll see how that plays out. So that's really fun to talk about. I love talking about the collaboration stuff. So, but I guess let's get back to the Landmark 9 show. This second kickboxing event, or second kickboxing bout, Shun Matsuyama, his knockout.
Well, we can just go on to the rest of the MMA portion, but outside of the epic Budokan knockout over Kimura, what were your overall thoughts about the 4 other kickboxing bouts that took place on the card?
Oh, they were fantastic. Like I was about to say, that Shun Matsuyama, that knockout was absolutely sensational. Just he deaded the guy. They had to bring the stretcher in, everything. It was a fantastic knockout. Right off the bat, just set the tone for the event. The other 2 were like TKO style knockouts. The referee had to step in. But they were awesome. Just really, it was really impressive. Let me just say, the kickboxing matches on a Landmark 9 event in the cage were ridiculously impressive. They pretty much stole the show, in my opinion, and it was just very impressive to see. And it capped off that was a sensational golden month of kickboxing. And kickboxing is back, bro. It is back, and in a big way. Glory's rocking, King K1 is rocking, Rise is doing their thing. It's a lot of fun for kickboxing fans right now, and I'm really happy for them. And this show right here at Landmark 9, I just love the collaboration. You know how I feel about it, Jay Krish. I don't want too many kickboxing bouts on my RIZIN shows, because they're supposed to be for the superior rule set awesomeness, the best mixed martial arts rule set in the world. And of course, we're talking about superior rule set means soccer kicks, stomps, grounded knees, grounded up kicks, call to six elbows, everything, right? And every kickboxing bout takes up a slot that could be a superior rule set bout. So that's why I only want about 3 tops, especially for the ring events. So we'll see how many are put on 46 coming up next month. But I mean, for this show right here, Landmark 9, they were just, man, it was fantastic. Fantastic in the cage. I mean, it was just great, really great. Like I said, the Matsuyama KO and the Buakaw KO, those were absolutely sensational. You had the crowd rocking, had us rocking online, man. We were having such a good time. Really set the tone for the event. So I mean, and then do you want to get started right away into the mixed martial arts bouts, or do you want to talk some more about the kickboxing bouts?
Nah, let's go ahead and talk about the MMA bouts, starting with the main event on down,
Okay.
That a lot. I mean, let's just say we started late. We're not going to waste too much time talking about anything else. Let's just go ahead, start on the MMA fights, and work our way down from there,
Let's do
it. And, of course, when it comes down to the MMA fights, we got to talk about the main event. Roberto Satoshi de Souza knocked out Keita Keitaro Nakamura via referee stoppage, 1 minute, 43 seconds of round number 1, just to send the fans home happy. But when you think about it, when you think about Roberto and the fact that this was a non-title fight, I mean, do you think that it'll eventually lead to him defending that title against a strong foreign opponent? Because I've mentioned this with Andrew on Thursday.
Oh yes, absolutely. I mean, this was a sensational victory by Satoshi-san. He started off with a head kick. I mean, this is one of the best Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fighters in the game for the lightweight division. I mean, that he's a sensational grappler and one of the best in the lightweight division in the entire mixed martial arts world. And he comes out there and lands a head kick and and stops him with strikes in the first round. Absolutely sensational. And it was the best part about the TKO stoppage was he threw some soccer kicks in there with it, and that was the best superior rule set epicness moment of the entire night. So it just like you said, the fans went home happy after that, and it was just sensational to see. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was going to be a submission victory, and no, he comes out there and throws a head kick, lands it. But you know what? You know why that was, right? Why? That's because he surprised them, because everybody and their mothers, including Keitaro, thought he was going to grapple with them and go for the submission. And that's probably why Satoshi did that. It's probably exactly why he did that, because nobody was expecting it, including Keitaro, obviously. That's why it landed. And he did an impressive job with the follow-up strikes, including soccer kicks. So that was fantastic to see. And to answer your question, absolutely yes. Next is a defense of his lightweight title. This one right here, the main event against Keitaro. This was a non-title bout to get him back into the win column, to get him back into fighting. This was his first fight back at, with a full camp, because remember in his previous fight, he had saved a Bellator versus RIZIN card, saved a Bellator lightweight Grand Prix, literally getting off his couch the week of the fight to face Patricky Pitbull in the lightweight Grand Prix, Bellator's lightweight Grand Prix bout, because AJ McKee got staph infection that week. So Satoshi gets off the couch, loses to Patricky, and this was his first fight back since then, and this is his first fight with a full camp. So that's why it was a non-title bout. And if you remember from the preview shows, no matter what was the outcome of this fight, it was going to be a title defense one way or the other. If Keitaro won, Satoshi was going to have to rematch him for the title on the line. And now that De Souza won, the next bout is definitely for a title. And I would love it if it was for a foreign fighter. I mean, like, a Bellator crossover. I would absolutely love that. But I'm guessing it's going to be Luis Killer Gustavo. because remember he's on quite a little tear right now himself. That technically that's a foreign fighter as well, but that's a RIZIN in-house RIZIN foreign fighter basically. So we'll see if that gets made next, or if it's a foreign fighter collaboration fighter from Bellator, PFL Tour, and we'll see all that. Or it could even be someone from BKFC. Like, what if it's Eddie Alvarez? You know, he fights at lightweight, right? Wasn't he former lightweight UFC champion? So I mean,
a champion as well. And by the way, Andrew, welcome to the madness.
Hey, Drew's here! Yay! What's up, brother?
Oh, nothing much. I missed. I just heard Satoshi, so I'm assuming that you're up, or that's how you're starting the conversation. I'm guessing, right?
Well,
yes, we're starting from the top down.
Jay, let me go ahead and talk about the reason why this is happening. We already talked about the kickboxing bouts. Obviously, you played a role in commenting, and now we're talking about the MMA portion. So it's like you said to me, like on Thursday night, when we done our little review for the We Are Rising podcast, you're saying that Luis Killer Gustavo should also fight Roberto Satoshi de Souza for the lightweight title. Explain to Jay Wolf why is that?
Well, really, there's nobody else. I really don't care what Pitbull says. Yeah, I know that Pitbull beat him, but I don't care. He has not defended that title once at all since winning it against Yusuke Yachi 100,000 years ago, and he's only done non-title matches since then. And it's really dumb that they still do that, considering that you put the fighter at risk, you put your champion at risk. That's the main thing. But barring that, Luis Gustavo has totally earned it. He's on a winning streak. He beat Yoshinori Horie soundly, in my opinion. He beat Takeda the last fight soundly, in my opinion. Beat Yachi, who fought for the vacant title against Satoshi. The only issue is that Gustavo just had surgery on his hand. He's got metal screws in his hand.
Oh no! When did that happen? When did the hand surgery happen for Gustavo?
Just recently, and he posted a picture of it on social media.
Like recently, within the last month or two?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Then it's not Gustavo then.
Sorry?
It can't be Gustavo then. There's no way you can heal up from a hand surgery, hand injury in 6 months to do a title fight.
Oh yeah, no. Well, here's the thing: save it for New Year's. Save it for the New Year's Eve show. You're gonna have enough. You're gonna have enough fights between now and then that you don't need Satoshi to do anything. There's no need to put him in any non-title thing since then. He had a good fight, good win. He gets the time off. He gets to help Bonsai Jim, and I saved that title shot against Gustavo for New Year's. There's nobody else. You can't convince me. If you say Pitbull, I don't care that Pitbull beat him. It doesn't matter.
It can't be Pitbull. Pitbull is in the PFL season right now. There's no way that fight can happen.
But I'm also saying, like, if Pitbull loses, because we've seen that before, where fighters lose in PFL and then they go fight on RIZIN or they go fight somewhere else. If he loses and gets eliminated, I still don't want that fight to happen. I don't care. Save that for next year. But the only person is Gustavo, and yeah, there's nobody else. I can't think of one other person who legitimately deserves that title shot. If there is somebody, I got someone
in mind, Drew. It's a foreign fighter. It's a foreign fighter. They've already had a fight before. He's itching to get the rematch against Satoshi. I think you know who I mean. He's fought in RIZIN before. He's currently under contract with the Bellator PFL people. But Tofik Musayev, he has been wanting that rematch with Satoshi-san ever since Satoshi scored a sensational, like it was like a flying triangle almost on him that he got. I mean, that was one of the best pictures that if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Where it's got Satoshi's like up in the air, slapping on a triangle on Tofik, and he got it fair and square, man. It was just sensational submission by him.
Well,
But Tofik has been itching to get that rematch. He's on he's a great fighter. He's on a winning streak right now. He's just supposed to fight in the PFL. That could be one of the people that PFL is going to send back over for Yachi. So I could see that happening.
well, Jay, well, first of all, Tofik and a whole bunch of the other guys from Azerbaijan are currently entangled in legal and criminal goings on. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah, that's already been cleared up. The Tofik
No, it
wasn't.
hasn't.
He remember Tofik was not really part of it. Remember?
No, but that's why he couldn't fight in the Bellator show because he was, I don't know if he was in jail, but he was certainly not eligible to leave the country at all.
Oh well, he wasn't in jail. Remember, he was part of the part. He was like the guilty by association, basically.
Now here's the other thing. Here's the other complication of that. Well, there's two complicated. Well, if he gets if let's just say this goes to court and he gets the equivalent of felony, he will not be allowed to fight in Japan ever again. Now, you can always have them do the show in Azerbaijan, and that's how you do it, whatever. But that if he's currently entangled, if I don't know how Azerbaijan courts go, but nonetheless, as far as I'm concerned, Tofik still is like Satoshi already beat him. Beat him like pretty handily. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. If after the Gustavo fight, I would be if Satoshi wins, I would say Tofik would be a good, and he can travel. Good choice for to be the next challenger. And you know what? Same thing with Gustavo. Don't forget, did they fight in the lightweight tournament? Did they fight at all, or did they not? I don't remember if they crossed paths in that lightweight.
It was Patricky Pitbull. It was Patricky. And if Patricky loses and he can come back, I would also like that rematch with this time with Satoshi on a full fight camp, not just getting off his couch the week of the fight. I'm talking about full fight camp. I think he scrubs up Patricky. And I
think this is a with Benil Dariush situation where it's clear that there's only one guy who deserves it, and if they go another route, that's just going to screw up everything else for the person who legitimately deserves it. That's Luis Gustavo. You have a nice fresh match between those two, between Satoshi, two incredibly different styles of how they fight, which makes it also intriguing. So, and then you have one also kind of like their backgrounds, other than Brazilian, like one guy who lives in Japan, who's Brazilian, the other guy who came up in the favelas. I think that's a much more interesting fight. You can make those other fights next year. And by the time, and if you do it for New Year's, unless, I don't know, they have to cut off Gustavo's hand or something, I don't know, that he should be fine healed from that broken hands by the time December comes around.
Okay, well, I mean, if Satoshi wants to wait that long,
I'll give you one caveat. I'll give you one quick caveat. If they book the fight and then Gustavo gets injured, I'm fine with calling. Calling one of the other guys to replace him as to save the match, if that needs to be desired. But I think the focus should be really booking that new, fresh match, an intriguing match between those two fighters.
Okay, well, it all depends on how soon Gustavo heals from that hand injury, and if Satoshi wants to wait that long. Otherwise, I have no problem with them keeping the division rolling. If Satoshi wants to take another fight in between, I wish it was tricky.
The division hasn't been rolling. The problem is the division hasn't been rolling.
I know.
The champion it's been all non-title matches, and he's lost already 2 of them. And one of them he came pretty close, almost. Well, I shouldn't say almost, but was potentially a very tough fight. This fight Carlisle won. That was a very
who's the 2 losses? The one you're talking about, the one where he got off the couch to Patricky. What was the other one? I'm
AJ McKee.
Oh, that's another Bellator one that doesn't really count, but I guess it does.
Nonetheless, those matches, still held up the division, and the Patricky match as well, because he broke his hand during that match. If he had not been injured, I'm guessing they probably would have tried to have done the Gustavo match last December.
Oh, okay.
That's my. I'm just guessing because Gustavo was already in Japan training. And so I'm just trying to, it just sounds like, it sounds like, well, 1+1, it pretty much seems obvious that they were going to do that. But then when Satoshi wasn't cleared, and then they gave him the Keitaro fight as a tune-up match, which again, another risky match to have possibly taken. So, this division has been entirely held up. And at one point, it was the most interesting division. And now it's the most stonewall division, unfortunately.
Well, there's another way to fix all that. You know what I'm going to say?
Grand Prix.
Yes. Jay Krish knows me too well, baby. The lightweight Grand Prix. How great would that be? That could be Satoshi-san putting his title on the line every single bout as well. And I mean, keep the matchups fresh. There's a bunch of people that could be in it, like Ali Abdullah Kalikov. Could you do a Korean, Kim Kyung Po, and who else they got there? I mean, of course, Tawfiq Musayev. You get Yachi back here after his Bellator fight. Killer Gustavo, of course. I mean, throw Hori in there as well. I mean, heck, we can see what happened with Spike Carlisle as well. I mean, there's plenty of guys to make a fantastic Grand Prix to get that division rolling again. So I think there's plenty of options, you guys. But hey, if you want to wait until New Year's Eve, and if Satoshi wants to sit out, yes, you're right. Luis Gustavo, he should be next. If they want to go in order of who's earned it most in the lightweight division. But if Henry's going to keep him out for a long time, then there's other options. There is other options available.
You know what they should do? They should have. Remember when Gustavo did like that jiu-jitsu demonstration where he choked out a child? You know what? They just have him do something like that. Just have him do a weird gauntlet thing where you just get and he broke Yuki Nakai's shoulder, I think, or like he dislocated it. Yeah, just have him do something like that. Just do a weird thing like that.
I'll
say this. As
long as the commentary's not done by Matt Stryker, then I would definitely.
I do think that down the line, I would like to see more Bonsai versus Pitbull Brothers Academy matches. That is probably my favorite feud right now in MMA, because I just like that these angry Brazilians and these angry Brazilian Japanese people are just like they do not like each other, and some have wins over one of the guys. You kind of have Chihiro, who's kind of like, I would say, maybe chaotic neutral on the side of the Pitbull brothers. I want to see more fights between. Do you remember there was that one RIZIN show? I forgot which one, where they really emphasized in the VTRs the gyms that the fighters came from. Do you remember that? I think it was the Miyu versus Andy Nguyen fight, number 2. And I would like to just see something like that. Because I was just watching the
K versus ATT.
What's sorry?
Was it Crazy B versus ATT for the win?
I don't know, but they emphasized the gyms that everybody fought at in the opening VTR, and I really thought that was interesting. So yeah, that's one thing I kind of want to see maybe more this year or 2024 is more Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu guys versus Pitbull Brothers Academy people. I think that would be a very interesting MMA type of feud, kind of like the Shootbox guys. Remember what was it? Who were the Shootbox guys? Who did they hate in Pride? Who are the guys who they always hated? Oh my God, what was the gym that they always fought with? J-Wolf, don't you know this?
Yeah, no, the shootboxing guys talking about Wanderlei Silva, Shogun, who all of them fantastic. I mean, they were pretty much a rival of everybody in Pride. That was like the main star of Pride. I don't remember which gym exactly you're talking about.
Was it Brave? No, it wasn't Brave.
And Shooterbox Academy versus Brazilian Top Team.
No, but that wasn't in Pride. I don't think Brazil Top Team was even Brazil Top Team. Was that even around during the Pride era? Like that their peak?
No, Jake Chris, he's talking about Shootbox versus a Japanese gym.
I think it was I think it was the Mock Dojo, because that's where Sakurai came from. And I think I think Silva was still at shootboxing. Was he still at the shootboxing academy at this time?
Yeah, you might be right, Drew. Yeah, because he got
That
Mach
that
Sakurai
might be it.
and Shuto before
Yeah,
coming over
that's maybe what I'm thinking of. Anyway, I just want to
anyways.
see. I want to see some Pitbull Brothers Academy versus Bonsai Jiu-Jitsu fights next year, because I think those will be some really cool fights.
Hey, that's a great idea. I mean, that could be. We were talking about it on Teep's show, Teep of the Junk show, a good friend of the show. We were talking about the guy, one of the guys they could send over is from Pitbull's. One of the guys that PFL and Bellator could send over is from Pitbull's gym, Leandro Higo. So, I mean, there's, Drew, that's a great idea. And you brought up Chihiro Suzuki. Of course, they got a fantastic grudge match. It's going to be, I think it's going to main event New Year's Eve, to be honest with you, if they don't screw it up. But Patricio Pitbull, Chihiro Suzuki owns Patricio Pitbull, knocked him out fair and square, has all the PFL people and fanboys online just coping hard and making excuses about that fight. Like making excuses for Patricio, saying, "Oh, it was late notice." Well, they were both late notice. Oh, well, it was up at a weight class. Well, they were both up at weight class. They're both featherweight fighters up a weight class. Oh, they were both coming. Is coming off a loss. Oh, well, actually, they were both coming off of a loss. So it's like, dude, all their excuses don't work. Chihiro Suzuki owns Patricio Pitbull right now, and Patricio Pitbull has stated himself that he wants that rematch. Of course, he wants that rematch because it was a brutal KO loss for him. It was sensational for us because that was one of the best knockouts last year, and it was upset of the year, clearly upset of the year, but it was also a knockout of the year candidate. Patricio Pitbull, his head bounced off every single rope on the way down. That's where he really got that supposed neck injury from. It's from his head bouncing off the ropes on the way down the canvas from this vicious knockout, Chihiro Suzuki. So that right there. That is your Pitbull Academy versus the Japanese gym that you want to see, Drew. That's gonna main event New Year's Eve, I think. If Don Davis doesn't screw it up.
You're basing that on the assumption that Chihiro beats Kanehara next.
Well,
right?
Honestly, yes. Well, it can still happen even if he loses the Kanehara, because apparently they're not going to make Pitbull wait. Apparently, Pitbull is going to be facing Aaron Pico next, or at least that's what he tweeted about. So that's possibly what they're going to do. But yeah, I mean, hopefully Chihiro can beat Kanehara, and then they can set up.
You do know that's not entirely guaranteed.
Oh, I know. I love it. I absolutely love it. They're not protecting that champion.
The other thing also is that is the assumption. So let's just say Chihiro does win. Are you having the two champions face off with non-title matches, or are they both putting their titles on the line, or is one putting the title on the line?
I would love it if they both put the titles on the line. I would love it if it's under superior rule set. I would love all of that, but I'm guessing I'm thinking Don Davis is scared to do that stuff, so I'm thinking it's only going to be Chihiro putting his title on the line. But I mean, if Pitbull won't put his title on the line, then I don't think Chihiro should either. So I mean, it should be if Don Davis is playing scared, then there should be a non-title bout. But either way, it doesn't matter. That matchup should happen, and if Chihiro can beat Kanehara, which, like you said, is not a guarantee. That's just make the fight that much bigger. And if Chihiro beats Kanehara, then Pitbull should not take the Pico fight. They should just keep Pitbull out until New Year's Eve and make it and just mash them together while they're both champions, both on a roll, basically.
Do not like that at all. I have to agree with Santiago that. Well, I don't listen. I'm not. I disagree with Santiago when he wasn't a fan of the initial fight. But no, if you're a Bellator champion, your obligation is to Bellator and to defend that championship in a Bellator, whatever. So,
what do you mean, Drew? Are you kidding me? You're just sitting here talking about sitting Satoshi for the entire year to wait for Gustavo to heal up, and you can't sit there and sit Patricio Pitbull for the rest of the year to make the blockbuster main event for New Year's Eve.
Well, first of all, two situations. One, Satoshi has not defended the belt at all. And again,
So you want to sit out and wait for a whole year to defend the
it's
belt?
not a whole year. It's not even a whole year. It's already. So I mean, March, April. Listen. 3 months to recover. I'm not 3 months for
It's the
recovery.
exact same timeline. Patricio Pitbull fought and won earlier the same day that Satoshi won. You know that, right? So it's literally the exact same timeline. So, dude, if you want one to sit out
What are you
for a
talking
year,
about?
then you had no problem with Patricio sitting out for a year to make the super fight. But look, let's just see how it plays out with Chihiro and Kanehara at RIZIN 46 on April 29th. Let's see how that fight plays out, and then if Chihiro wins, then they're stupid if they let
I'll
if they
tell you
rip
this.
Patricio
Well,
against.
here's the Pico fight. I don't know. When would that probably happen? I don't know. Probably July. I'm guessing. No, I don't know
No,
what the
that's too
schedule is.
soon. That's too soon. It
Okay.
would probably happen in like August or September, and then it'd be then they would start crying about, oh, Patricio can't be ready to come back by New Year's Eve. So I
Oh no,
mean,
not necessarily. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. No, not at all. Not at all. If it's in August, and listen, he plows through. And that's the other thing. If there's a possibility, Pico beats him as well. That's the other thing. You can't. Don't you see this is why we have not gotten fights like Reina and Izawa, and we never got Anthony Johnson versus Yo Romero. We haven't, because you can't you cannot make a fight and wish and predict and hope that this is the outcome so that this other fight will happen. You kind of have to just book the fight, see how it goes, and that's what RIZIN does a lot of times. That's kind of what Chihiro Suzuki's whole arc was, that he kind of was brought in as this guy who I believe was brought into not being in the position that he's in now, and then but then he started winning, and then they ran with it. So I think at this point you just got to listen. You got to hope that Pitbull beats Pico. He does. He comes out, mostly unscathed. Then yeah, you can still do that. The rematch with Chihiro by New Year's. Satoshi as well. Listen, he already beat. He's already had. Well, I'm gonna say Satoshi is different because he's already had a bunch of non-title matches and he needs to defend that title. And there's only one person who legitimately has earned it in terms of wins. Not going by rankings, but I'm going to go by wins.
well,
And
he's
also,
hurt right now.
he's also the
He's
title
hurt
win.
right now, though. He is hurt.
He's hurt
That's not
now, but
Satoshi's fault.
Listen, this is a broken hand. This isn't like a torn ACL or meniscus or MCL.
Yeah,
this isn't
broken hands. Those take forever to heal.
No,
And
they
that's
do not.
that's not
No, they
Satoshi's
don't.
fault.
Not this guy. He's not Kai Azakura. J Wolf. It's not Kai Azakura. Listen. Fighters get broken hands all the time. Probably it's the most common injury in MMA and in boxing. So I have. It will not take. When did he fight? When did he last fight? February? Was it February that Kusawa fought?
Yes, he main evented
Okay.
Landmarks 8.
Okay, February. Okay, so March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. That is 10 months away. He will be cleared to fight again within 10 months. I've never heard of a hand injury taking that long to heal up.
Okay, well then deal. Then Satoshi faces him within the 10-month time frame that you're saying. That's fine. So, I mean that can happen. I have a problem with saying that he has to wait till New Year's to wait for Luis's hand to heal up, and then you're in the same breath you're saying, Patricio can't wait till New Year's for a super fight with Chihiro. But on that one, let's see how it plays out with Kanehara. That's going to be a huge. I mean, if Chihiro wins and beats Kanehara, Don Davis is stupid if he doesn't make that. If he doesn't say, okay, you know what, Pico can fight somebody else. He hasn't really fought a number one contender because since he lost the Kennedy matchup, maybe he should have to rematch Kennedy first to earn his spot or earn a shot at the title, and then he holds Patricio out till New Year's Eve for the super fight and makes a bunch of that would
Kennedy is
sell
not
out.
fighting for a long time. Kennedy is not fighting for a long time. He
Well, I
got
mean,
beat up pretty
I'm
bad.
just use that as an example because Pico lost to Kennedy. I'm using that as an example. I'm talking about there's other guys that Pico could fight for a number 1 contenders fight to really earn the shot at the title because he didn't. I mean, let's face it, he hasn't really fought like. I mean, no, I don't want to be mean or say, but he should fight a number 1 contender fight. I don't think he should. Oh, we got another guest. Who's on there? Cap'n. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Is my mic working this time?
Yes.
It is. It sure is. You sound crystal clear.
Sorry, I heard Pitbull arguing, and I knew it was my time to shine.
Yes, we were arguing. I love it.
Well, actually, so
I'm a chaos, Captain.
well, I want to ask. Let me ask Captain in that case.
Yeah,
Sorry, Captain. Do you think so? Okay. Just too long. Didn't listen. I think that Gustavo is the only person who should face Satoshi for the belt at this time. And, he's obviously got a heel because he's got a broken hand. J Wolf kind of disagrees. I don't know. You kind of agree with me, but you also kind of don't. I don't know.
No, I agree. Luis Gustavo is next in line for the lightweight title shot, Satoshi. The problem is his broken hand. He needs to have that healed up first.
Yeah, okay.
And so you're talking about.
It's not going to take 10 months for a broken hand to heal, right, Captain?
Okay,
Has that ever? Well, Captain, has you ever heard of a broken hand taking 10 months to heal?
Kaya Zakura.
He's different. He's different. He's the exception.
I don't know. I feel like a broken hand is like a serious injury. I don't think it would take 10 months, but you want to err on the side of caution when rehabbing. I do agree with you that Gustavo's next in line. I guess really my only objection would be that they should probably have him take like another like non-title fight in between now and New Year's if that's really the case.
No.
Yes, I love it, Captain. That's right. Tell him, Captain.
Do you know that Satoshi has not defended the title once, though?
So what? It's not his fault that Gustavo is injured.
Wait. I thought he defended it against Case.
No.
And
I don't think
Yachi.
he did. No. He won the title from Yachi. Remember, it was the first. That was the inaugural. And then I think Case was a fight he had before that.
No, I thought he won the title. He won the title against Tawfiq at 28.
Captain is absolutely correct. The Yachi fight is first, and Johnny Case is the next fight. So that was a title defense, and then there was Spike Carlisle in between. There was a title defense or no?
No, that was non-title. He hasn't defended the belt for 2 years though.
Okay, so let me rephrase. I want to correct myself. I thought he hadn't defended the belt at all. So let me rephrase. Yeah, he hasn't defended the belt in 2 years. That's the argument I'm gonna stand on, is that he has not defended in 2 years, which is absurd.
Well, it's not his fault that Gustavo's injured. Okay, so I mean, Captain, how about this other idea?
Yeah.
How about a lightweight Grand Prix? With his belt on the line every single fight.
I don't really think it's necessary though, because they have a number 1 contender that they're gonna book. It's just he needs to heal his hand. Like,
okay,
I don't think it would be necessary.
And
I mean, if there wasn't anybody left, then yeah, I'd say they should do a Grand Prix.
They were going to do that fight for New Year's anyway. They were going to do Gustavo and Satoshi for New Year's because Gustavo was already training in Japan, and then Satoshi broke his hand in the Pitbull tournament match. So yeah, they couldn't do it last December. So why not? There's really nobody. That's the thing. There's nobody else at this point.
Yeah,
and
I will say
I don't.
I will say though, to your point, Andrew, you made a good point about just a lot of these like hyped like organizational fights, like Pico versus Pitbull, or just general like promotions trying to book like dream matchups and they never come together. Pitbull versus Pico, or like Kaya Sakura and Naoki Inoue. It seems like you try to book to a certain conclusion. It's like you're begging to get derailed along the process.
Well, that's the history of almost. I mean, UFC.
No, it does happen. Don't say every time, Drew. It does happen. We're look at Super RIZIN 3. That was built into with Ren Hiramoto and Mikura Asakura. They're both getting on winning streaks finally.
Oh, well, Mikuru's on a what? Mikuru's on a when did it?
Well, not a streak, but they're both coming off wins finally, right? Or they're finally.
No, he lost. Mikuru's on a 2-5 losing streak. Well, one MMA, one kickboxing.
Oh, the kickboxing don't count. I thought he was on a. I thought he just got that was to Yaman, right? That was the most recent bout. That one was in kickboxing, small glove kickboxing. So I thought he won his most recent mixed martial arts bout. No? Okay.
No.
Well, never mind.
The last fight was Ushiku that he won, and that fight was terrible. That fight was awful.
Okay, well, never mind.
Well, better.
Yeah. No, but
okay,
it was.
Never mind.
That's
Well,
why
there's other examples besides that one where they built into it just fine. So, but you guys are right that more often than not it doesn't happen. But still, like I was saying, like for the we got to see what happens with Chihiro first and foremost. Let's see what happens at RIZIN 46, April 29th, versus Kanehara. If he's able to beat Kanehara, then they hold Pitbull out until New Year's Eve for the super fight.
No. But first of all, again, you're going back to my point. You are. If you ever saw the movie Office Space, you are the guy who invented the jump to Kikuchi's mat. And listen, you should not be thinking that Chihiro is going to win against Kanehara so easily. If you don't even do the MMA math thing.
You're missing the word.
I apologize. I thought you said when he does. I thought you said when he does.
No,
I thought you said when. My apologies. I thought I heard when.
No, it's if, because like you're saying, there is no guarantee that Chihiro wins versus Kanehara. The title is on the line and everything. So if he is able to beat Kanehara, then you hold out Patricio till New Year's Eve. If Kanehara wins, then you go ahead and book Patricio versus Pico later on, and then if the stars align, then you match them up for New Year's Eve. So. And they'll both be coming off losses or whatever. So
I still can't agree with that. That's still, Pitbull's obligations with the Bellator. I mean, I don't know what happened. I
just said that if Chihiro loses to Kanehara, you book Pitbull Pico next.
No, if Chihiro wins or loses, it doesn't matter. The next fight for Pitbull should be Pico at this point, considering the streak that Pico's been on.
What streak? What streak? There is no streak that Pico's been on. He's coming off of wins against lower level guys after losing to Kennedy, who Pitbull just scrubbed up. Okay, Pico should fight a #1 contender bout next. And that against the PFL champion that they were going to match Pitbull up against.
Technically, by process of elimination, Pico is the #1 contender since Kennedy got defeated. If that's how they don't even have rankings anymore. So I don't even know what rankings are you talking about. There's no more rankings. They were taken out back and shot like old Yeller.
You know,
and who did Pico win to beat to get this title shot? Huh?
I have to basically take control of my own goddamn show back. That reminds me, we got to talk about the co-main event. Koji Takeda defeating Kyohei Underground Emperor Hakiwara via unanimous decision. Even though Koji Takeda looks like shredded wheat now, I mean, he's just genetically jacked. Do y'all think that he is in line for a potential RIZIN featherweight title opportunity?
Yes. He looked great. I was disappointed we didn't get a bunch of suplexes. But I mean, Hagiwara, he showcased that his grappling's getting better every single fight. We knew coming into this matchup it was going to be a tough match for Hagiwara because Takeda is a fantastic wrestler, fantastic grappling, and we were looking to see if he was going to suplex him, and he didn't even hit once. So that was disappointing. But Koji looked great at 145. He was able to go the full 3 rounds. Didn't look like he was losing gas or anything. So the weight cut did not affect him like we were wondering if it was going to or not. So he is absolutely another contender at 145. I mean, he was a contender at 155, right? Because they kept matching him up against international fighters, everything. So now at 145, he's going to be even more dangerous, especially now that we know the weight cut doesn't affect him like we were wondering if it would or not. So to answer your question, Jay Chris, absolutely yes.
Okay, Andrew, what say you? Hello, Andrew.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, R.I.P. to Takeda's balls. That was a nasty ass nut shot, and I thought, oh no, we're gonna get a no. It's gonna be a no contest for how long it's taken. Luckily, that didn't happen.
What a warrior to come back from that.
Yeah. Without a doubt, though, the point of the match where I like popped was when Kyohei Hagiwara somehow reversed a takedown and judo through Takeda. Like that's like, you know, when they say like you can see Haley's comment like every like 10,000 years or whatever. I think that's probably like one of those things that's like you'll only see like every 10,000 years is Hagiwara reversing a takedown on a star grappler like him. But no, listen, Jay Wolf, I don't know if it was a low blow, but Takeda was getting tired, like maybe mid second round to third round. He's, you know, and that's probably also a weight cut as well, to be fair.
But it was the low blow, bro. He was coming back from a low blow.
I think it was both. I think it was both. I do think it was both. I mean, this is a weight class he has not fought in, so that's bound to happen. But we'll see on the next whatever fight he has next. Certainly not. I wouldn't call him like title contender yet. 2 or 3 more, maybe. I think.
We'll put him a number 1 contender bout next.
Not with his first fight in featherweight. I think that's really absurd to do. I don't like that. I don't like people coming down from divisions and getting getting quickly pushed up the ladder. I don't think he's at.
Do you think if Hagiwara were to beat Takeda, they wouldn't have given him a title shot in his next fight or two?
Well, I don't know if I don't think Hagiwara would have won this fight if he had 100 out of 100 times. I think Hagiwara loses because this is what happens when you put up against grapplers. You know, you're just asking for it. It's like, you know, the whole thing was that I was surprised that Takeda could not submit him. So I guess Juan Archuleta taught Hagiwara some good shit while he was training at a smoker.
He sure did.
Right. Captain, you want to say about this?
Yeah, I disagree with giving him an immediate shot. I'd say, you know, if you still want to push him towards the title, I'd do a title eliminator with Kleber, probably August, September. They wanted to do that. He did look great. He looked great at 145, though, like you were saying, like shredded. I mean, I didn't know how he was going to make it, but, you know, he came in, he made the weight, and he showed up. As far as for the fight itself, it reminded me a lot of Ren Hiramoto's fights with Dominator and Yutaka Saito. Like both of the guys, you know, they're not black belt grapplers by any means, but they had some decent looks in there, even though they lost. Hagiwara, especially, you know, reversing a takedown on the grappler in Takeda. Overall, I don't know. It's one of those things where it's been kind of a pattern in RIZIN, or at least with Hagiwara and Hiramoto, where you know, they make incremental progress in their grappling, and then they're thrown to the wolves to far more experienced grapplers. In Ren's case, he's had a bit more success than Hagiwara, but I don't think Hagiwara should get too discouraged. It was a good fight, and he had some good shots. It was just he couldn't keep up with Takeda's onslaught over the full 15 minutes.
Yeah, good analysis.
Great analysis on that one. And I mean, to be honest, I think that Takeda needs, I mean, maybe not one more fight, maybe a couple more fights before being labeled as a top contender in the featherweight division. Wouldn't y'all say so?
Yeah, give him another contender fight. Give him number 1 contender fighter or a fight or two. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, I guess I'm just going for like the easiest possible path to the belt for him. It really just depends on what they're thinking to do with featherweight because it's been so backed up with the same four guys for the last like 3 or so years.
Oh yeah, of course. And now, considering that I have control of the show again, go ahead and go to the bantamweight division. Naoki Inoue defeated Shoko Matsumitsu Sato via unanimous decision. It was obviously and originally supposed to be Inoue versus Shinobu Ota, but we all know what happened with him when he faced off against Shoko Sato. So now the question comes to mind. When Shoko Sato realized that, now that he's rising worthy, he's probably going to be competing in more bouts. I mean, did you think that eventually it was going to lead to him getting the opportunity to fight Naoki Inoue and lose? And do you think that we'll potentially see Inoue be in bantamweight title contention?
Yes to both. But Inoue needs to get. I mean, he's a channel like he had a couple fights ago, Jay Krish, where he got a soccer kick finish. This fight was a decision. Maybe it was because of the opponent change, but Sato, he, like you said, he grizzled veteran. He's coming off of beating Ota. So, I mean, maybe Inoue was thinking, hey, I just better go in there and just get the job done against this guy, not do too much flashy. But, I mean, he was coming off of losing to Juan Archuleta. So, I mean, this was definitely his bounce back fight, but for his next bout, he needs to get more exciting, bring back some of that superior rule set awesomeness that he showed in his earlier fights. I mean, if you're going to take him down, you at least throw some ground at knees or some 12-6 elbows or something, Don't just sit there and go for submissions all the time. But I know it's easier said than done, but still, but yeah, to answer your question, absolutely, Inoue is still one of the best and definitely put him in a number one contender fight sooner rather than later, but he's got to get back to his superior rule set ways, or else I don't want to see him in a title shot. I want to see him. Well, I guess, I mean, to be fair, yeah, okay, just put him in a contender fight. Let's see what he can do.
Okay. And Captain, what say you? Oh, wait, you probably already talked about it, right?
No, he hasn't.
No, not yet.
Okay, well, go ahead and speak, Captain.
Oh, well, as far as Inoue's title path goes, as long as Kai's holding the belt, I don't think that fight will happen. I think that's like a snake bit fight, and it's RIZIN's version of Tony versus Habib. For Shoko Sato, though, I think he's really shown out in his RIZIN appearances. Once they picked him up from 1. He's just one of those guys that's a tough out for anyone, especially fighting someone who, Inoue's experience, don't get me wrong, but especially fighting someone who's so dynamic and just one of RIZIN 135's best guys to fight. And he didn't look bad in there. He lost, yes, but he made a pretty respectable showing for himself and proved that he could definitely slot in as a gatekeeper to the top 5. Especially looking at his record, really his only losses in the last few years have been to Naoki Inoue, most recently, and then his only other 2 losses were to Stephen Lohman and Fabricio de Andrade in 1. So he still got it even at 36 years old. I'd really like him as some sort of a gatekeeper to the up and comers. Maybe put him against. Why am I blanking on his name? Sorry for a second. Got to do some Googling here. Put him against, I swear to God, I'm going to get it. Suchul Kim.
Oh, right.
Oh, nice.
But he already has a fight booked for RIZIN 46, right?
Does he? I hadn't seen that yet.
Yes, he does. You're absolutely correct. Against Tachi Nakajima.
Oh, okay. All right. And yeah, no, that would be, I don't know, just spitballing, throwing it out there. I think that would be a good fight.
And so does his Road FC teammate, Ji Yong Yang. Also is at RIZIN 46 against Kazumo Kiramoto. Ooh, that's going to be a nice, fantastic matchup as well.
Yeah, or potentially Yuki Matoya if he gets back from Deep, or his fight in Deep.
Oh, that'd be a good one. That'd be a fantastic matchup as well.
That would be fantastic. But now you have to think about, what would be next for Shoko Sato?
Really, I would probably put him against if he wasn't already fighting Suchil Kim, I might have put him against Nakajima in the first place. Maybe not quite like main card, maybe, lead prelim, but I think he's shown out enough in his RIZIN appearances that he's earned some goodwill, and he's earned a good fight higher up on the card.
Oh, yeah, of course. And now we go down from the bantamweight division to the one women's fight on the card, which was highly controversial, to say the least.
To some people.
Yeah, of course. Reina Kubota, the shootboxing goddess, defeated Yuri Shim via unanimous decision, even though, let's face it, Reina hasn't fought in 10 months. Shim hasn't fought in damn near 3 years up until this fight. I want to basically get your thoughts about this fight first, Captain, since you were the one to last speak.
Yeah, this is definitely one of there's some people who say that ring rust isn't real. I didn't think this was a bad fight, but it definitely both of the ladies' time out of the cage showed. I didn't know much about Yuri Shim coming into this fight. Obviously, Reina's a mainstay of RIZIN's atomweight scene. And then she hasn't fought since losing to Claire Lopez last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't really speak on what would be next for Reina. This was a good fight though. Yuri Shim should definitely come back to RIZIN, but both of them did not look, or at least Reina, from seeing her in the past, did not look as good as they have.
I see. And Andrew, we spoke about this fight being controversial on Thursday. Did you really think that the fight should have been given a second look?
I apologize. It should have been given a what? You broke up.
A second look.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I have to credit Isha from City Life Projects for convincing me. Actually, also J-Wolf to a degree as well. For to give this fight a second look. Upon first viewing, I was like, oh, Reina won. I'm not, whatever. But then Isha told me his thoughts on the fight. J-Wolf told me his thoughts, and I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll get this one a second look. I think this fight. I think, Captain, you said it best. This is a fight where I don't listen. Reina may have won on paper, but she did not win my heart. I guess I don't know how else to say it. Reina's last. I'm going to say few years in rock. Even the atomweight tournament that they had recently, she wasn't the same Reina that was destroying livers and choking out Miyu, and that we saw maybe pre-pandemic. I don't know if this is a case where as she gets older, she's fighting more cautious, or she's just getting older, so she's just fighting slightly slower. I think though. So, and I looked at this fight and so I came to the conclusion that under unified rules, Yuri Shim would have won this fight. But I think why they gave it to Reina, apart from the fact I do think there's maybe a little bit of a hometown cooking there. Because I don't think it was giving the Japanese fighter any favors, because that, if anything, the history of RIZIN judging has shown that they don't. If it's a foreigner versus a Japanese fighter, they don't rule and with the Japanese fighter, like almost all the time. I do think that when Reina got mounted and started doing those elbows and these submission attempts, because I looked at it, and while I was thinking about when I thought back to it, I was like, who is Yuri Shim giving like, oh no, I'm okay. She wasn't giving it to the ref because the ref was not in front of her. I think she was actually doing it to the judges, telling the judges, oh no, she's not. I'm not close to being finished, so don't give her points for finishing me. I did come to the conclusion that I would not be opposed if they ran this match again in a ring. I think this fight really did not show the best of either of them. Actually, I was a little bit more impressed with Yuri Shim, to tell you the truth. But yeah, this was kind of like this was probably the most disappointing major fights on this card for me.
Mm-hmm. And Jay, since you were mentioned, what do you have to say about this fight?
Man, I cannot disagree with everybody more. I love this bout. It was my fight of the night. Absolutely, it was so much fun. I love Reina. She's my striker queen. And Yuri Shim, she was a fantastic opponent. And Drew, what you were trying to get at is that judging the fight as a whole, Reina won. Period. Fair and square. And I was talking with Aisha and them. The worst that you could do is give it a split decision. But no matter any way you cut it, it was a Reina win, either by split decision or how it was, a unanimous decision. Because in the first round, she arguably came back to steal that round, right? And the second round, okay, that was Yuri Shim's, obviously. But the third round, I don't care if what Yuri Shim was waving the judges or not. That getting a crucifix like that is a near finish. Getting a submission is a near finish. So, I mean, credit to her for not getting finished, but still, those are scored as near finishes and the fight as a whole. And she was pretty much owned that third round. So that's Reina finishing the fight strong in the third round. And also on top of coming back to probably steal the first round. When you judge a fight as a whole, as the Epic RIZIN does, that is a clear Reina decision win. Clearly. So, I mean, the worst you can say is that it was a split decision. It should have been a split decision, which is what I got Aisha to admit that, yeah, she did win, but it should have been a split instead to give Yuri some credit. So I'm fine with that.
If this was unified rules, I think Yuri Shim gets the judge's decision in that case. Because if you just look at
it could have been Drew. Arguably, if it was unified rules, it might have been a draw. Because I mean, and also it could have been even a Reina win, because who knows if they would have given Reina that first round based on her coming back at the end of that round. So
very rarely have I seen judges it seems, at least most of the time, that judges for unified rules tend to base on the amount of minutes that a fighter is dominating. If you dominate a fight for 4 minutes and then you make a comeback in the last minute, the judges will still rule on the guy or girl who dominated for 4 minutes, 10-9.
No way, Drew. Are you kidding me? No. The thing, we talk trash about the UFC all the time, where you take down the last 10 seconds. Oh, that's that guy's round now. That's the running joke with the UFC. And I shouldn't have said just the UFC, but the unified rules.
That doesn't happen as much anymore. I know that used to be that does not happen as much anymore. It really doesn't.
Okay.
I have to be fair. That used to be that really used to be a thing, though. That really, really, really used to, like, you could lose 4 minutes and then you go for a takedown and then suddenly you somehow got the 10-9 of that round. But that since they readjusted the rules, since I don't know how long ago it was they readjusted the rules, it's happened a lot less. It's been in fact with takedowns now, a lot, we saw with the Darian Caldwell Kyoji fight, even though the second one in Bellator, despite Darian getting these takedowns, he was doing nothing. Kyoji was working on bottom and won basically a lot for most of the fight on bottom. So, but that fight were maybe, what year was that fight? 2019 was that fight? 2019, I think it was, or 2018? Maybe 3 or 4 years before that. Yeah, then you say Kyoji loses that fight. So I can't let you.
No,
I
not
can't.
necessarily.
I
Not
can't.
necessarily because Kyoji was throwing elbows. That's what won him
Well,
that
that's what I'm
fight. He was
saying.
throwing elbows from
That's
the
what I'm
top.
saying. But that's what I'm saying is that now they readjusted the rules where a takedown is not is just going for a takedown doesn't win you the fight. 3 or 4 years
No, but
before.
I'm saying that the point was that if in the unified rules, if somebody does something spectacular, last 10 seconds or rocks them or whatever, takes a takedown, then they sometimes have scored that bout. I mean that round for that fighter that does that in the last 10 seconds. And that happens even to this day in the unified rules. And Reina, it was like the last half of the first round. It wasn't just the last 10 seconds. And Yuri Shim, the points that she was winning, in the second round and before that, she was point fighting. She was just point fighting. Okay, so there wasn't like she was like dominating with 10-8 rounds type of a deal for it to be clearly her round. No, that's the whole point of why we're saying that Reina Kubota, she arguably won the first round based on that comeback for the final half of that first round. So, but look, this hypothetical about unified rules doesn't even really matter. I mean, because even with the unified rule, she might have won that at least for a split. But on the fight scored by a hole, what?
I don't know. I don't think she would have. I think it would have gone to Yuri Shim. Actually,
I don't know because
I'll tell you this: it would have gone to Yuri Shim because Reina would have gone to disqualify for that grounded knee. So I guess I'm kind of right.
Okay. No, but look, just saying.
But here's the thing. This will be my last point. I agree with Captain that neither fighter looked good. I am not opposed to the fight being run back again later this year in a ring, and then go from there to see. Hopefully that somebody gets a true dominant winner of the other.
Okay, I mean, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I totally understand.
Oh, that wasn't me talking. I don't know who that was.
I mean, yeah, we can definitely see that fight happening in a ring next year because of the fact that, it was highly controversial. The end of it was just, crazy.
I don't know. I mean, it's only controversial with you guys. Everybody I was seeing was totally in agreement. I mean, and even Aisha was saying, yeah, Reina really, she won, but it should have been a split.
The other thing is that if we're going by damage as well, Reina got cut open in the first round. So if we're even going to go by what?
And what about the lumps what about the lumps on Yuri Shim's face from those elbows in the crucifix where she almost got finished?
I didn't see any lumps. I don't remember any lumps, so I'm not going to go by that. I'm going by cuts.
Go look at the post fight. She had lumps and contusions and bruises on her face from that crucifix. Those elbows.
But likely those happened after they iced her up.
Oh gosh. Well, okay. Well, the cut was minuscule.
Just put these two in a rematch in a numbered show. I'm fine with that because neither of them should face Sekizawa, but based on how they fought, that's all I should say.
Understood. And
all right. Well, hey. Also, you got to give Reina credit. I mean, she got the decision win, in my opinion, fair and square, and obviously in the judge's opinion, as the fight was scored as a whole. So, it wasn't unified rules, so there should be no controversy that she got that win fair and square because she did win the fight as a whole based on that third round, the crucifix, equaling the damage, all that. She also finally got, overcame she had never won the cage before. She finally got that first W in the cage. And also, as we were talking about on the preview shows, she overcame the Samson effect, where she had cut her hair short. In previous fights, we had seen women lose after that, right? So she was overcoming a lot in that, and also the ring rust. So she overcame a lot in that fight, and I thought I wouldn't be opposed I thought it was a great fight myself. So I would not be opposed to that being run back in the ring. That's fine with me. And she did have some superior rule set strikes, some grounded knees as well. So just added to the awesomeness of that bout for me. But I was really impressed with Reina. I was happy to see her get that W, get back in the win column, and get that monkey off her back, so to speak, about winning in the cage and beating the Samson effect. Of course, I'm talking about Samson from the famous story from the Bible. And it's for this Easter weekend. I want to say that again. Christ is Lord, Christ is King. He is risen indeed, and happy Easter to everybody that celebrates. And this is a fantastic W for Striker Queen Reina.
Yeah, of course. And Drew, I know you probably want to get your final licks about this before we move on, but you kind of dropped out for a second.
Yes, sorry, my phone was overheating, so I had to switch to my laptop. So I don't even know what you guys were talking about. I heard just Happy Easter, just some religious stuff from J Wolf.
Understood.
That's because Reina overcame the Samson effect of cutting her hair short.
And basically, it's because J Wolf doesn't like tomboys. But still, though, enough about all that. And by the way, before I even think about continuing, I too want to say Happy Easter, or later in the month, Happy Passover to those who might be listening. I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. And you know what? Let's go ahead and continue on, because for RIZIN Yamamoto, I basically hate to make a joke like this. It basically has felt like he sacrificed a lot since his mother retired from combat sports. He is now 4-7 overall after taking a knee bar submission loss to Yuya Monkey Shibata, 1 minute 45 seconds of round number 1. Do you think that the bad man needs to rethink his priorities? And as far as Shibata goes, will we see him more often in RIZIN competition now that pretty much people are going to forget about his deep stuff?
Who do you want to go first, Captain?
Yeah, Captain, you go first.
Yeah, it's not a good night out at the office for RIZIN Yamamoto. Just, I don't know, like his last fight at RIZIN 44, we were all very excited. I believe he was winning the fight until that cut stoppage. Mm-hmm. And now his mother retired New Year's Eve, and now against Monkey Shibata, first round knee bar loss. I don't know. It's tough to, It's tough to think of him getting many more opportunities in RIZIN, especially because it seems like he's trading a lot on his name, which is fine. But just 2 and 3 in his last 5, 4-7 overall. It looks like he might need to rethink his priorities, as you were saying, Jay Krish. As for Shibata, not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about him, but I really liked his scrambly grappling in this fight, especially that knee bar. If they want to throw him another fight, RIZIN 135 is their best division, arguably, or was this at 125?
Yeah, it's flyweight.
Flyweight, okay.
Specifically.
Yeah, well, in that case, if you want to thicken out flyweight, get some more names in the mix, I wouldn't be opposed to seeing him be matched up against another mid of the card guy.
I see. And Andrew, what were your thoughts about this fight going in?
Well, when I initially did the predictions, I initially said that, Arisan, you better protect your neck, but I guess I totally negated to remember the other 50% of the body that he should have also been aware. In fairness, he got out of a toe hold pretty correctly, but then he just he seemed like he got caught in that knee bar and just didn't know where to go. But that's also like the history of defeating wrestlers is by leg locks. So good game plan by Monkey. Monkey's, he clearly was brought in to lose. Like Jay Wolf, I don't know if you're going to agree with me on that, but if you don't, I'm going to say you're absolutely wrong in this case. I don't know, do you agree that he was brought in to lose, Jay Wolf?
Well, I don't know, because he was on a little win streak coming into that.
Come on. What do you think? You think RIZIN was like, oh yes, let's hedge our bets on Monkey to beat Ersan, son of one of the
Well,
most.
yeah, he was 17-7 going against Urson, who was coming off of a loss. I mean, maybe Urson's more expensive or something. That's because of his name. That's why they keep. I mean, Urson should have been fighting somebody coming off a loss like him. So
Well,
I mean,
here's a problem with Urson, and I said this with Chris on the recap show. The problem is that it's almost 50-50 at this point, whether he wins or loses, and you just don't know. You could match him up against like you could match him against somebody who you think he should beat, but then he winds up losing. The Fukuda fight, I will make it like that's kind of like an anomaly, a little asterisk, because he was winning that, but then Japanese doctors, blood, fight has to stop immediately for whatever reason. It also sucks though because it looks like Fukuda is no longer at flyweight, so that rematch happening is probably likely not going to happen. I don't think, because I don't think Urson's going to go back to 135. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think we can get that rematch probably ever. It sucks that I don't know what to do with Urson. I said that the fight that he can maybe, and I say maybe win, is against Yusaku Nakamura. But it's the Breaking Bad meme with Jesse. How does he keep getting away with this? That's Yusaku Nakamura's career. Oh no, he can't keep getting away with this. Nakamura's entire his recent career surge is just that. So yeah, I don't know what you do with Urson. I said this with that when Yachi was on the winning streak, these guys should fight and yes, if they gotta take a pay cut, that's what you gotta do. They should fight in lower tier promotions like Deep or Pancrase or Shuto, because I 100% believe that those promotions would bend over to give them an easy opponent, or at least RIZIN Brass would be like, hey, can you give our guy? I'm sure Shigeru Saiki from Deep would be highly more likely to do it than Pancrase or Shuto. So that's why I think you just have to do something like that. He's got Urson is, and it's strange because Urson's also 25. He's still very young, but I think he just needs more MMA time and miles to kind of just know that there's going to be situations that he may not have trained for, but that he has to know split second how to get out of. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't know what's a fight that he can win next, because I think RIZIN's still going to be they're going to still book him, and so yeah, I'm kind of don't know what to do with him next. But I hope Monkey's back. Listen, 125 is starting to look good, and if we got Monkey in there, who else we got? We got Dodson. We got I was about to say Okikubo. I guess Okikubo's flyweight, kind of.
Shinryu.
Oh yeah, Shinryu as well, who's having the fight against the Korean guy. Oh god, we got
Kyoji is a champion.
Yeah, so we got tons and tons of. There's a lot more flyweight. So yeah, I hope that Monkey gets a return fight, hopefully.
No, it's my turn. My turn now.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I think we lost Jay Krish.
Oh, okay. That's what I was waiting for to see. So, okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with what you said, Drew. I mean, but also I want to point out about and Captain, agree with what you were saying too. I want to point out though about Urson Yamamoto with his loss about the blood, right, in his previous fight. I want to point out in this very card, we were just talking about it in the Reina versus Shim fight. There was a cut on that on Reina that was bleeding badly, and they let the fight continue for 3 fights for 3 rounds.
Jay, well, I apologize for interrupting, but they weren't the same. The at least with the Urson cut was a lot more deep, and I think it was on the actual brow. Which, listen, should they have stopped it anyway? No, but I can't. The cup of Reina was next to her eye, so she wasn't getting blood in her eye. It was dripping around the eye. She was still able to see. I think,
No, you're misremembering, Drew. Misremembering. It was at the corner of her eye, and it was dripping into the corner of her eye as well. And she kept wiping. If you remember, it wasn't just her bangs that she kept wiping away. She kept wiping the blood away as well. So I mean that's another thing that she's got to do is forget having bangs in a fight. Dang it, just braid those back so you don't have to wipe away her bangs every single strike that she throws. But I mean, the point is that she was cut just as bad as Urson. Maybe Urson was in a different.
I can't agree with that. It was not as bad. I'm saying that neither of them should have been stopped for the cut. I've always been in the belief that they should let the fight go until the end of the round, regardless of how bad the cut is. Listen, I'm old school.
Yes.
BJ Penn.
No, listen, I'm totally with you in that.
I don't care if they're drowning in blood. You wait until the end of the round. You try to stop it then. If you or once the fighter says stop, I can't continue anymore. You let it go until the end, and then you try to heal it up. If you don't, then doctor can wave it off. Listen, but they're not in. They were not in the realm of the type of cuts that they stop fights for.
Yeah, but the thing is, when it comes down to that, you wouldn't want a referee being like Mario Yamasaki, just letting them die out on their shield either.
But they don't. I mean, they're getting better with the cuts. Like I was saying, there was another women's bout that they let go on, and it was even more bloody than Urson Yamamoto's fight. So, I mean, they are getting better with the cuts. Hopefully that continues. But I mean,
that's one of the great things that why not be on Fuji TV is great, because they don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's
is that one of the reasons was? Okay, I can see that now. That's
why they used to, what was it? I think it was a Rocky Martinez Crow Cop fight, which I think made the Fuji TV thing got stopped when it was like that little teeny cut of like on his
yeah, that was ridiculous. Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So it's great to see.
For the Fuji TV broadcast. Sorry, J Wolf, I didn't mean to.
Oh no, go ahead. No, I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just gonna say, I mean, just going back to the Reina and Shim fight, it was great to see that they let the fight continue.
Oh my god! Sorry, J Wolf, I'm gonna interrupt again. Captain,
again?
The photo. Okay, those were not the same. J Wolf, you gotta go into the Discord and see Urson's cut. That is not at all on the same level of Reina's cut.
Okay, it's in different positions. All right, fine, but
no, it's not
Reina's was still
it's above his eye. It's above his eye and the brow, which historically many fights have been stopped for. Not saying that again, that they should, but and look, it's also his eye swelling.
Reina was in the corner of her eye.
The corner, not above the eye. You can still fight. You can still see.
Oh, she was having to wipe the blood out of her eyes in addition to her bangs. So it's not like, I mean, it's okay. It's not the exact same spot, but it's not like it's like a huge difference. But still, anyways, the whole point of that is that besides Reina having to have the braid her hair from now on and stop doing bangs, is that their Japanese are getting better with the blood. That's because they're not on Fuji TV anymore, thank goodness, which is also contributing to shorter intermissions, which is making their runtime be fantastic as well. But they're letting the fights continue because of blood, and that the cuts were right around the eye, and so they let the Reina's fight continue, and maybe in this new era without Fuji TV, they might have let the Urson fight continue. So. But anyways, for Urson, for him, he's got to fight somebody coming off of a loss or take some fights in deep. I mean, I don't understand why Monkey Shibata was 18-7 coming into that fight. Okay, and he was on a 2 or 3 fight win streak. I forget what it was. But anyways, the point is that he was on a win streak, had momentum. Urson was coming off of that loss, even though it was a cut loss. So it's like, it just doesn't seem they got to match him up more fair. Momentum is real in this sport, and but it's okay. Like you guys are saying, Urson's still in his 20s, plenty of time. Just keep training. I mean, maybe go to deep, get some wins against lower competition, and then come back to RIZIN. But he should be fine. But I was really impressed with Monkey Shibata. Even his walkout comes out in a monkey mask. Just playing into his old nickname gimmick of monkey, and just put on a fantastic fight. Did a fantastic submission, probably the submission of the night, and just really for this division, like Drew and Captain were saying, is another fantastic fighter added to the division, which I'm hoping they're going to do a Grand Prix for including with King Kyoji Horiguchi in it. So that Sakaki Barasan, the CEO of Epic Rising, was talking about an interview saying he wants to quote unquote build that division before doing a Grand Prix. And this is one of those bouts that, from the preview shows we were telling you, was going to be, literally building the division. So to me, Monkey Shibata might have just punched his ticket to get into that flyweight Grand Prix that hopefully they're going to start later this year. And maybe Ursun, there was another flyweight fight on this card earlier. Maybe he fights the loser of Nakamura and Ashimov. Maybe, could that be a good one for him? I don't know. Either that, but
we talk about the Nakamura Ashimov fight while we got time.
Yeah, sure. You want to jump to that one instead?
Yeah, let's go ahead with that one, because I think I know what I want to talk about last. But still, down to Yusaku Nakamura, he defeated Mustafa Osterik, a.k.a. Arman Ashimov, via unanimous decision. But Ashimov came in slightly overweight, so he was already in a lose-lose situation coming into this fight. I mean,
you tell us who you want to speak first.
Andrew, you can go ahead and speak first, because we talked about this on Thursday that you didn't give a damn about this fight.
Well, I mean, I knew the fight was going to suck anyway, but it became less important after it was decided that it's going to be a no contest if Ashimov wins. I think there was zero chance. Oh, the thing is, I'll give credit to Juan Archuleta. At least he fought like he had a chance to win. Ashimov didn't do shit during this entire fight. So that's like, if there's how we talk about on the podcast, somebody who's rising worthy. If there's somebody who's absolutely not rising worthy on this entire show, it would definitely be Ashimov. I have no interest in seeing him ever again. Let him go to ACA or wherever. And get a few more wins, impress me, that this was like a one-off thing. So yeah, and then also King Silo's favorite, Yusaku Nakamura, somehow Palpatine has returned. Somehow Yusaku Nakamura got another win in a fight that I was supposed to again lose. So yeah, nothing. There's really nothing to say about this fight, at all. I mean, he's 19-10, Nakamura, at this point, and the people he's beat. He beat Hiroya, he beat Takagi Soya, he somehow beat Topno. He's beaten these fighters that is clear. He's probably the most obvious gatekeeper in the history of RIZIN, and he's somehow still he's getting these wins that he should not be getting. It is not in their grand plan. I mean, you ever seen Battlestar Galactica, the new one?
Case of Ashimov, that he was basically taking a vacation during this damn fight.
I don't know what vacation he was what he was hoping to achieve on this vacation, because I'll say though, if you bet anybody who bet on Nakamura, and made good money off it, because there was literally no chance for Ashimov. Good on you. You're the true winners, because you know how the rules work for in Japan. I'm sure the bettors don't. So those are the true winners, in my opinion.
I see. Captain, what say you? What turns you off about the fight?
Oh, sorry. My keyboard stopped working, so I'm trying to figure that out.
You want me to go? You want me to go first,
yeah,
Captain?
Jay, if you could pinch hit for me, that would be.
No problem. Helpful. Absolutely. So, Jay Chris, to answer your question, what turned me off about this fight was, of course, that Ashimov missed weight. He was coming on this fight. He was one of the only international fighters on this card, and he was coming off on a little win streak coming into this. So he was, this was his fight to really impress, and to me, punch his ticket to be part of the flyweight Grand Prix later this year. Of course, then he misses weight, and then he comes in the fight and he doesn't fight like Juan Archuleta did when he missed weight, like Drew was saying. But what Drew's talking about there is Juan Archuleta missed weight at New Year's and came to he was trying to kill Kai Asakura to get a finish victory, even because he knew he was going to get a no contest no matter what, even if he won. So he was coming in there to kill, and clearly Arman Ashimov was not. He was coming in there to do a decision, and thankfully Yusaka Nakamura was able to, counter that, and he got the decision win himself. So I mean, I thought that was a great win for Nakamura, and I agree with Drew. I mean, Ashimov, that was incredibly disappointing, and if they give him another chance, it's got to be like we were talking about earlier. It's got to be against like someone else come off a loss like Yamamoto, Urson Yamamoto, maybe match them up. And if you're going to keep, unless you're going to send Yamamoto down to deep to face lesser competition. So, I mean, it's just, like I was upset, at first with the weight miss and then with the way that he was fighting. But at the same time, I was happy that Nakamura was able to pull off the victory, basically, and get these one more, and he's got that magic number 20 wins. And he'll be at above 500. 20 wins, 10 losses. So I mean, hey, that's that. I mean, shoot, I won't even mind him being part of the flyweight Grand Prix later this year if he's gonna keep getting sneaky wins like that. He could be a spoiler, but like you're saying, he's clearly a gatekeeper of I think that was Drew that was saying that of 125-pound division. So that's not too bad. I mean, that's a good place to be. So he's be a good fighter to match up against some up and coming flyweight to see if he's RIZIN worthy, and that's pretty much exactly what they did in this bout. So I mean, it just sucks that it wasn't a finish. Basically, that's all there is to it, and it sucks that Ashimov missed weight and then put on a stinker of a fight. But hey, that's how it goes sometimes, I guess. But they can't all be Azakura.
I just want to give credit to RIZIN as well, is that unlike what Bellator used to do when it was under Scott Coker and UFC, is that when they clearly have somebody who they want to win, they don't, and that person loses, they don't give the person who beat their star prospect like a punishment return fight. As far as I can recall, I don't think RIZIN. What's going on?
I'm gonna have to go ahead and hang this one up.
What
happened? Uh-oh. Jay Chris we lost Jay Chris here.
Oh, what? Yeah, somebody was trying to call me.
Oh.
Please continue, Andrew.
Oh, no, I'm just going to say that RIZIN, at least as far as I can recall, has never done punishment fights for people who beat their prospects that they want to win. So I'll at least say that whoever Nakamura faces next, they'll likely give him, they're just going to book him, kind of just how they just usually book the people that they book when they win, as they've historically done. So, credit to RIZIN Shingo for not punishing fighters for winning fights that they're not supposed to win.
Oh, yeah, of course. And I'm really hoping that, Captain can get back on the call. He said his keyboard was messing up. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's probably restarting his computer right now. I'll bet you he'll be back anytime. So let's just keep it moving, and then he can give his thoughts when he gets back. So, I mean, who do you want to go to next?
Well, I guess we can talk about the bantamweight bout between Yuto Hokamura and Daiki Lightyear Walter. Taro, who, by the way, just turned 31 about a few days ago, so happy birthday to Kentaro Masakiri. Taro defeated Daiki Lightyear via unanimous decision, and I guess now, would y'all say that even though he's in the middle of the road, that this fight was worthy of him being labeled as a contender?
No, because I mean, as we were talking about in the intro, or kind of the intro, Kentaro was very disappointed even in this win. It's like he was coming in this fight like just trying to get a win, basically back in the win column, which is understandable. But dude, when you have your opponent rocked multiple times where they drop them down to the ground, you should be required to go for superior rule set strikes, meaning soccer kicks and stomps. Kentaro had him rocked like 3 different times. And he never once went for a superior rule set strike. It's like he didn't know the assignment at all. I was so upset. I wanted him to be yellow carded for it. I mean, the Epic RIZIN people, Sakibara-san, Shingo-san, they really got to start telling their fighters, hey, when you get guys down in these positions, We want to see superior rule set strikes. We don't want to see, you drop down, and even when you drop down to get some ground and pound, throw some freaking 12-6 elbows or something at least. I mean, this is just. I mean, it was really frustrating fight, and credit Kintaro for getting back in the win column, but man, these fighters they need to learn. They didn't know the assignment from now on. So whenever you get a fighter down and rocked, you follow it up with a flying stomp or a soccer kick. You don't just sit there and kick the leg or whatever. I mean, man, it was frustrating to watch. And credit to Daiki Lightyear. I mean, he was really trying to get to that because he was coming to that fight trying to get to 500, right? So he was really trying for that, and you can see the effort he was putting in. But I mean, still, I could not get over my disappointment in Kintaro not going for superior rule set strikes when the opportunity clearly was there multiple times. And dude, to me, I want in the future, I was like, not knowing the assignment of penalty. Like if you don't know the assignment clearly like that, you get 3 chances. And if you don't do it by the third one, like Kintaro did, you get like a yellow card. You get a yellow card penalty for not knowing the assignment. So it was that frustrating for me. But hey, happy for Kintaro to get his, finally snap that losing streak and get back in the winning column. But I mean, he's got to show me more in his next bout. Period. End of story. They got to show me more. They got to, and fighters as a whole really got to show more. This whole card actually, there was barely any superior rule set strikes happening, and it was incredibly frustrating. Thank goodness for Satoshi-san sharing the event with soccer kicks, and for Striker Queen Reina showing she's still the Striker Queen, throwing some ground and knees at least. I mean, pretty much other than that, there wasn't any other superior rule set strikes in this whole fight, and that was just like encapsulated in this bout with Kintaro. So that's just really what I took away from this bout. But happy for Kintaro getting back in the win column, but just everyone needs to show me more on their next fights out that they know the assignment, and especially Kintaro.
I see. And I guess we can go ahead and continue, even though we're waiting for Captain to come back. Because again, I know what I want to talk about last, but before I do, let's go ahead and talk about the Yuta Kubo versus Ryogo Kaitai Takahashi fight. Kubo, the smiling sniper with his wife at cage side, not performing her entrance music like how he did for New Year's Eve. Kubo defeated Kaitai via split decision, but Andrew, you thought this fight was boring. Why is that?
Oh, because barely anything happened memorable during this fight, and again, also I think the wrong guy won. I don't see how Yuta Kubo won on any sort of scorecard. Whether you judge a fight as a whole or as under unified rules, I don't see how. Ryogo Takahashi, I think, wobbled Kubo once. You got a takedown on him, I think 1 or 2 times, if I remember correctly. I don't understand where the idea that if we're going by how RIZIN judges are supposed to, how the RIZIN judge is supposed to judge a fight, how Kubo comes out. I think this is a case where where the judges may have been more enamored with the more famous fighter. I don't know. I can't think of any other reason why Kubo got the win in this fight.
I got an argument for you, Drew. I got an argument for you on that point. Kubo was throwing the harder strikes, the more power shots. He was the one who could be seen as the aggressor. Takahashi was just throwing like pitter pat, like point striking again. Same problem that what Yuri Shim had. So, and at least this one was a split decision. So it's not like the judges are totally disagreeing with you and saying that Kubo just outright, blew him out of the water, right? One of the judges gave it to Takahashi, but that I could see that being the argument, is that Kubo was landing the harder strikes with those, big old knees and uppercuts and stuff. So, and also didn't he have some takedowns and have Takahashi on the ground? I remember being mad at Kubo for not throwing more 12-6 elbows. Or was
he didn't do anything with those takedowns. He got a takedown, but he did nothing with them.
Yeah, but the takedowns, regardless, those score. Those score points, and that counts towards the entire fight decision. right? So I mean, that's we call it changing levels basically, and every time you level change, that's a point in that fighter that changed levels. So that I could see that's why it was a split decision. And to answer what your question was, Drew, about how they could score it like that, I can see that with the level changes, the harder strikes, like we were saying, and just. But I agree, though he should have done more. I mean that's why it was a split decision, though. So I mean I don't see it being a robbery.
So do I think that? I think that Takahashi should have gotten the win, but it's not by a huger margin. I just think that he was the one. When I watch these fights, I'm trying to think not who I want to win or who I want to lose, but how are the judges going? How the judges should judge the fight. And this is the case. He may have been giving them more power punches, but it's kind of like if somebody is let's just say if I'm throwing a bunch of power punches to you and they're just hitting your shoulder, they're not doing any damage versus somebody who's point fighting, it may be point punches, but if they're hitting the head, they're hitting proper parts of the body, those should be given the more credence, in my opinion.
Well, to me, he's got to have more of that. He should have had more volume.
You can't go by the more powerful punches that you're assuming that they may be doing more damage. There's tons of punches that look devastating that you hit them that don't do anything versus a simple jab, and we've seen people get like knocked out with a simple jab or knocked down, I should say. So and again, I'll say this also as well. This is one of those fights where neither fighter really did so much to impress me, and I think there should be a way to like rule a fight a no contest if neither fighter does enough to eke out a decision. And I'm not talking about like a close fight. I think like it's like the Neiman Gracie Jason Jackson fight where I think neither fighter did anything at all to deserve a win. There's got to be like a separate category for that. Just
so you're saying you wanted a draw? You wanted a draw?
No contest. No, a draw would imply that they no contest is that's more apt. A draw implies it's not winning, but like it implies that that the judges could not come to a decision because they thought that that both won. A no contest implies that a winner cannot be determined. A draw is still a decision. No contest is not. It's not a decision. It's not a
draw is where you can't determine a winner, bro. Exactly what you're looking for.
No. A draw could be a draw could be that you think that both fighters won. You get like a 10-10. That you gave them both a 10-10. That's what happened with the Mark Hunt Bigfoot fight, the first one. Both people, all those judges thought that Mark Hunt and Silva both won all those rounds equally. So there can be still that conclusion. No contest has no conclusion. So I think that's more apt for a fight like this. Yeah, and the other thing is also it's quite clear that Yuta Kubo is, he's starting to. If you want to do I totally forgot about this. We talked about on the review show on War. I think you got to put him up against somebody who has to force him to actually put action in there. Like I think if you put him against Hagiwara will force Kubo to have to actually, I shouldn't say effort, but has to fight harder rather than coast on a fight like he did here.
That'd be a good matchup. I like that matchup. Kubo versus Hagiwara.
Yeah,
I think that's a fantastic matchup.
Is going to come in aggressive against a striker like that. He did that with Hiromoto. I have no doubt that he would do it against Kubo as well. So yeah, I think those two should be that's a prime fight to make in my personal opinion.
I like that one as well. I mean, only problem is that Kubo is coming off of a win, and now Hagiwara is coming off a loss. How I don't like the matchup winners and losers.
This is barely a win, though. This was barely a win. So
you're right. No, it was a split. So And I just don't like calling it a robbery because it was a split decision. So I just think that, that's to answer your question about how the judges could come to that split decision is because, like I said, Kubo was the aggressor. He was coming forward and landed more power shots compared to Takahashi just point fighting. And he level changed a couple times. I was just upset that he had level changed and he didn't throw 12-6 elbow. And he was coming off of a win in the cage where he had a sensational 12-6 elbow TKO finish.
Hey, well,
so it's like, man,
like when you talk about all these past, sock kicks, these past 12-6. You sound like Al Bundy when he keeps on bringing up his 4 touchdowns at Polk High. So I don't.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. Dude, Al Bundy is talking about high school stuff when he's a middle-aged man. That's like ancient history. I'm talking about fights like
years ago.
No, okay. It's not. No, it's not. The Kubo fight was his very most recent fight. Okay, so it's like
what? What Kubo fight are you talking? His first fight, his second fight, excuse me, was against that wrestler the wrestler who you talked about with the 12-6 elbows, right? That's who you're talking about. Keisuke Okuda.
Yeah, I was looking it up right now. It could either be in 2022 or 2023 where that happened. So I mean,
that's almost 2 years ago. That's
oh wow, oh that's ancient history. Oh man, is that like? Do they even have records that far back? Man, that's so long ago.
In fairness, also that Okuda is not. It was like if you told me that he did it against a higher level guy, I'm fine with that. But this was. Keisuke Okuda, I don't think has actually won an MMA fight.
So what? He still showed he could do superior rule set strikes, and now in this fight he doesn't. It's like, dude, come on. Why? How are you regressing in your knowledge of the assignment when you showed a sensational knowledge of the assignment earlier, just literally 2 years, a year and a half ago, and now you forgot the assignment already? It's like, dude.
Jay, that you were gonna mention about finishing the assignment when it came down to some of these fighters, especially considering the fact these decisions on this fight card.
Yes, absolutely, Jay.
I think Jay Wolf, that was also during the pandemic. That was technically during the pandemic, if we're going by how Joe Biden, however long he defined the pandemic. So I'm considering that old news still. I'm considering that old news.
Oh God. Oh God.
Now, 2 fights. I just want to get your thoughts about Shibata versus Yamamoto and Kentaro versus Lightyear real quick.
My thoughts?
Yeah, your thoughts on the 2 fights that you missed out talking about.
Okay. Sorry. So the first one was Ersin Yamamoto, and the second one was the Kentaro fight, right?
Yes. No. Okay. It was the Nakamura versus Ashimov, and then the Kentaro fight.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I don't remember much about the Ashimov one. I just know that from what I remember, Ashimov did not look good. They need to send him back to the East European regionals. And then the Kentaro fight. Kentaro looked pretty good. He's still keeping up in like the journeyman, like banger category. He was pretty lethal with his left hand in there. I can't remember how many times he dropped Subota. I think it must have been like 2 or 3 times. But that was a pretty good, just solid prelim fight. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on either of those.
And what were your thoughts about Yuta Kubo versus Ryogo Takahashi?
I'm actually really surprised at how well. I'm really surprised at how much Yuta Kubo has been succeeding in MMA, given like how late he started and just how late he started, and then just the opponents that he's faced so far. Him RNCing Ampo was very funny, and then they fed him to Ota in his first MMA fight. And then him beating Ryogo Takahashi in a split decision, him going the distance showed that he's taken to it. Maybe not as well as his fellow kickboxing to MMA exports, But he's put in a respectable amount of time in the gym, it seems, and it's definitely complementing his already skilled striking.
I see. And now that we're all together in mass to talk about this, let's talk about the fight that should have been the people's main event. And that is Taka Kenshin getting his first professional MMA win.
Let's go.
I mean, come to think of it, I should have known that this fight was going to be a gimme fight from the get-go because of the fact that Taka Kenshin is 0-3 as a professional mixed martial artist. He needed something like this to improve on his stance. Who the fuck knew that it would come from that the win from a failed paralegal and former rugby player from Cheyenne, fucking Wyoming?
Hey, Jay Chris, you need to mute the TV in your background. It's causing interference on your end.
Oh, my TV is already muted.
Oh, well, someone's got a TV on that's causing interference. But anyways, who wants to go first on this one, Jay Chris?
Oh, let me go ahead and explain the result real quick. Taka Kenshin beat Cody Jerabek via knockout. 2 minutes 58 seconds, round one. He just basically had him cornered from beginning to end in this entire fight. And obviously in the post-fight speech, well, actually, no. Taka Kenshin is just happy to get a win. I mean, I can't really make out what else he said, but who knows? Maybe this might lead to something for him. As for Jerabek in the post-fight presser, he was just basically happy for the opportunity. He doesn't know what the future holds for him, but it's something. But this fight was something he could tell his grandkids about. Not so much about getting his ass whooped, but about the fact that he basically came over to Japan and fought, especially after losing in karate combat to Antonio Arroyo. But still, though, Jay Wolf, you talk about this fight first.
Man, I love that. I love the heavyweight scraps. It's always fun. This one had an American fighter in it, crossing over, from karate combat, coming in here to face Taka Kenshin, Sudario's older brother. So, I mean, it was fun. My problem with it, my problem is that I thought it was an early stoppage. I thought they should have let it keep going. I mean, I thought they jumped in there too quick. Didn't give Cody a chance to recover. I mean, it just. Hey, credit to Taka Kenshin. He got the job done. Got his first victory in mixed martial arts. So we'll see what happens now from here on out. But I mean, yeah, I just would have liked to see that one go on a little bit longer to see a definitive win by Taka Kenshin. But hey, he got the W, got the finish W. So more power to him. And then for Cody, I don't know. I mean, you think we should bring him back? I mean, he's 1-1 now, but I mean to me it just feels bad that like I said, it was an early stoppage. I thought so. I feel like he should be getting another chance, maybe on another landmark card in the future. But yeah, I mean, it was fun while it lasted, and just it was great to see Taka Kenshin finally get that first W.
Mm-hmm. Andrew, what say you about this?
Yeah, no, I agree with Jay. Well, here's the thing. I think it would have been stopped anyway. I don't think though that the stoppage was appropriate for when it was stopped, if that makes sense. As for Cody coming back, I don't know. No. I guess that's off of like the two, don't bring it back because let's be honest. Okay, if there was somebody who was more obvious who was being brought in to lose, the most obvious answer is Cody Jerabek. I mean, unless he does something like amazing again in karate combat, or I don't know, he strings up a few wins in LFA or something. I don't know. It's just like I don't know. This is RIZIN scraping as far as they can at the bottom of the barrel, having to get a middleweight to basically come in to hopefully lose to Taka Kenshin. I did see, I think King Silo or Daniel from Poland said maybe Shrek versus Cody Jerabek, and
That would be even worse.
that'd be even worse, but it'd be hilarious. So I'm conflicted morally on that. Listen, the fight that Taka Kenshin. Listen, there's only one fight you gotta do. You gotta do a fight with his brother, man. I don't know what. Listen, clearly Sudario's not going to UFC anytime soon, so just fucking do that fight while you can, man. Just somehow, borrow a drug their drinks or something, and fake their signatures or something. Just like somehow get that bout for New Year's Eve, because that will be a great bout. And also credit Taka Kenshin as well. He looks in good shape. He clearly has lost a massive amount of weight since when he had his first fight. What was it, 2 or 3 years ago? I think it was 2 years ago in RIZIN when he made his debut. Yeah, he looks in fantastic shape, and it's Taka Kenshin versus Dario. Book it, Chingo.
I see. And Captain, your thoughts about this, chaotic shit show of a fight?
Yeah, I agree that it was a shit show, but I mean, it was a pretty entertaining shit show while it happened. I mean, you had failed sumo versus suspended lawyer, former rugby player, flying in from Cheyenne, Wyoming. It was like, it went exactly as I thought it was going to, like very much to get Taka Kenshin back in the, get him his first dub. I don't know if it was a questionable stoppage for sure, but the body language from Jerabek after eating that 1-2 from Taka Kenshin I'm guessing was what got the referee to step in. Whether or not he could have continued after that, it's kind of up in the air. Really, I agree with Andrew. The only way that they can settle the score on this is to do Sudario versus Jerabek, either in the summer, in the fall. You want to wait till New Year's Eve for a match with that much name power on it. You can wait, but no, that was a ridiculous fight. Very JMMA like vaudeville car crash for me. I thought it was fun. For what it's worth.
So, Cap, I do think, questionable. I think at most, but I think I don't know whatever the opposite of most is. At least, in my opinion, it was an early stoppage. Considering how the fights that we've seen when they've been stopped in RIZIN, and I think it's actually kind of funny. I wanted to pose a question as well. Like during the Kintaro fight, the amount of times that he got knocked down. I mean, I don't know. Is there a point where a fight should be stopped if a fighter gets keeps knocking down the guy? I think so. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I don't know. There's no 3 knockdown rule in MMA. So really it's just kind of up to we keep on coming back to it, but it's up to the referees. It's up to the referee essentially. It's their intuition, what they think is fine. I don't know. I feel like if this stoppage had happened on like a UFC Apex card, on like second fight of the prelims, I don't think it would have been much of an issue. But usually, I don't think I think it only stands out so much to that. I don't really remember there being many like horrendous stoppages in RIZIN this year. Usually, they're pretty good about being pretty aware of like what the line is and making sure a fighter doesn't take too much damage. But I don't know. It was the perfect ending for a fight like this, honestly. Like just for Taka Kenshin, to get his first W by dubious referee stoppage just kind of adds to his storyline going forward.
It's also entirely possible that had the fight continued, he could have lost. He could have lost potentially.
That is true.
He gets tired, like in the Kaiju Killer fight. He just tires himself out trying to. That's the other thing as well. The Kaiju Killer fight could have been stopped as well. That's the other thing. That's what the fight I was thinking of. Yeah, because I think even I know Jay Wolf, you wanted to see some superior rule set in that, but I think the referee could have stopped it when Kaiju was getting beat down on him.
And he would have stopped it if he would have thrown superior rule set strikes. That was poured on Taka Kenshin for not knowing the assignment in that bout. That's why he lost that one against Kaiju Killer.
But I'm just saying that that had he survived, or had Cody survive that beating, listen, possible that Kenshin would have gotten tired and just, we would have had a repeat of that fight in this fight. So, hey, best friend of his night, that night, was the referee. So, good on Kenshin.
Of course. But still, though, all I'm just wondering is, where does Taka Kenshin go from here? You're saying Taka Kenshin versus Sudario for New Year's Eve, but, I mean, do you think that he should have maybe a couple more fights until that particular fight happens, or do you run the risk of him losing?
I don't know. Was that to me? Oh, sorry. Who was that to?
I mean, it's to the assembled masses, so to speak.
I mean, I don't know what other fight you possibly do. I mean, I still don't think he has the skills to beat at most like a deep heavyweight regular, to tell you the truth. He has a puncher's chance, but I don't know, like, can he beat a Ryo Okada or a Seigo Mizuguchi? I'm not so sure, to tell you the truth. You put him up against middleweight man Z, maybe he can beat. Probably that's the biggest chance he has, but I don't know what else. He doesn't have the amount of years and time and build up that his brother clearly got. Is getting the pro wrestlers and the easy opponents at first. So he's he's falling behind. What is he? 1-4 now? 1-3, I think.
Yeah, 1-3.
Yeah, 1-3. He's got some catch up to do. So listen, I just say do the fight between those two, just because you need something crazy for New Year's. And Sudario clearly has, he has his holes, and if TK is smart, he'll train Taka Kenshin to exploit those holes. That sounded very wrong, but
context or phrasing.
Of course. But still, though, with the fact that now this fight card's in the book, first of all, I want to get y'all's overall thoughts about the show. And second of all, RIZIN 46, I mean, come to think of it, we'll cross that bridge once we get there. A little over a month away, but considering the fact that we already got 10 fights for the card, what are y'all's initial thoughts about the show so far?
Say you want to go first.
I mean, yeah, you can talk about the overall thoughts of RIZIN Landmark 9 first, and then talk about RIZIN 46 from what we're getting so far. You can go first, Jay Wolf.
Me? Oh, okay. So you already know how I felt about Landmark 9. I felt that, I was really impressed with the kickboxing in the cage, that it arguably outshined the mixed martial arts because there was barely any superior rule set strikes that happened on this Landmark 9 event, which is very disappointing. They, like I said, the RIZIN brass, Sakakibara-san and Shingo-san, they need to start literally telling these fighters before the fight, hey, this is what the assignment is. They start literally telling them the assignment. Go, hey, we want to see some superior rule set. Do you get a fighter knocked down like Kintaro did? You go for a flying stomp. You go for a soccer kick. You go for, and if you drop down for some ground and pound, you better be looking for some grounded knees and some 12-6 elbows. Okay, I mean that's just you got to know the freaking assignment. All right, and it's just. Man, it was really frustrating seeing that in this card. Thank goodness for Satoshi-san chairing the event with soccer kicks, and of course our striker Queen Reina throwing some grounded knees. But I mean, other than that, I can't remember any other superior rule set moments that happened on that entire fight card besides those two, and that was incredibly disappointing. So I mean, they really got to do something about that. Like literally start telling these fighters, hey. You need to know the assignment, or we're going to give you a yellow card. I mean, I don't know what else to do. That like I said, that Kintaro fight where he had him down 3 different times, did not even go for a superior rule set strike once, not even one soccer kick attempt. That's inexcusable. To me, that should be a yellow card. That's how much I was upset about that. And then just really surprised about how the kickboxing in a cage just outshined. Just was. I mean, it was just incredible. Just put a cherry on top of the entire golden month of kickboxing. That's how good it was. Just fantastic. Of course, culminating with that sensational Buakaw knockout, maybe punching his ticket into the King K1 Max Grand Prix wild card slot. So, just man, it was a lot of fun. It was a great event, and just I mean, hopefully for the next event they have the RIZIN.TV, back up and running with the same kind of stream that they have for the Japanese stream. And we know what the solution to the RIZIN TV streaming issues is, right? That's bringing back ringside and cage side commentary. That'd be so easy just to do. Just have them, then they could just pump the HD Japanese feed out there and just have the ringside English commentary with it. That'd just be so much easier. I don't understand why they don't do that. Maybe they will in the future now that the RIZIN TV is a subscription service and they want to beef up that subscription. So maybe that's what they'll be doing. So we'll see how that goes for RIZIN 46, which I am really excited about. This one, as we were talking about earlier, Chihiro Suzuki, the current featherweight champion, the Pitbull Killer, knocked that first man to knock out Patricio pound for pound Pitbull fair and square after a sensational knockout last year. Knockout of the year contender and the upset of the year winner. That was just insane. This is his first title defense. After that, he won the title from Buga Karamov, and this is his first title defense against a very, very crafty veteran, Kanehara, who beat fair and square Kleber Koike, which is Koike. Thank you. As you guys know, that is no small task. That is that is a very big thing. That's why he's getting a title shot. I mean, that's a fantastic win for Kanehara, and he really has a real chance of beating Suzuki in this fight. So that fight could go either way. So I'm really excited for that. It was a fantastic main event, fantastic title fight. And then for the rest of the card, it's already got 5 foreign fighters on the card. I think it's 5, or let me see, it might even be 6 or 7. But anyways, the point is there is a lot already, at least 5 foreign fighters on that card. There could possibly be even more. So I'm loving that we're getting back to having international fighters on these cards, and I'm really excited to see what they can do. There's some fantastic matchups, like we're talking. Nazimov, remember him from the Landmark 7 in Azerbaijan card? Fantastic, another featherweight fighter right there. From I think it's like Uzbekistan or something. Maybe he is. Because potentially later on in the year, if you remember from one of the interviews with Sakaki Barasan, CEO of Epic RIZIN, he was saying that they're going to be doing possibly some international events, 2 of them this year. One of them could be in Uzbekistan. So this fighter right here, Nazimov, look for him. If he puts on an impressive performance, maybe he could be, co-main or main eventing that Uzbekistan international event. And then one of my most anticipated fights is a Russian fighter, Viktor Kolesnik, dropping down to featherweight from lightweight. And he's one of the most promising prospects that we've seen in the Epic RIZIN. Really excited to see what he can do. And then, of course, Captain's fighters from Road FC that he was talking about earlier, the Soo Chul Kim, former top. I mean, he's in a really tough matchup as well. Looking forward to seeing him back in action. And then for the co-main, I don't know if it's co-main set or not, but we got the Olympic silver medalist Shinobu Ota. He's facing the former champion Ushiku. So that's going to be, and we know that Ota's got the grappling, wrestling to be able to nullify Ushiku's grappling as well. So that's a really interesting bout for me. I just love that card. And I know you guys are going to love that card because it's back in the ring. And you guys have been having to endure having 2 back-to-back cage events happening so far. So I know you guys are going to be happy to get back in the ring. So I'm really excited to see how that, how that plays out. Because we were having a little fun competition going on in the RIZIN Discord about, which events bring forth better action. Is it the cage events or the ring events? So it's gonna be real fun to see how this one plays out. RIZIN 46, and you guys are lucky. I mean, I should be able to say that the RIZIN Landmark 9 brought the action because of the kickboxing, but in the cage. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to strictly stick with the mixed martial arts, just for our fun competition. So this 46 really has a chance to really get one up for the ring ring events. So we'll see how that plays. That's April 29th. And remember, this is my final thing I want to say about that one. That is a Monday in Japan. So you need to be taking that Monday off for work so you can watch with us, because you'll have to be staying up Sunday night on the 28th of April to watch that one live with us. So just want to make sure to emphasize that. That is on a Monday in Japan, which is a Sunday night in America. So just prepare now and put in for the day off of work so you can watch RIZIN 46 with us, because it's going to be a banger either way, especially with that main event of Chihiro, the Pitbull Killer Suzuki, defend his title versus Kanehara. Man, I can't wait. And as we saw from this show right here, that could have implications for a future matchup with Patricio pound for pound Pitbull at New Year's Eve possibly. So just a lot of man, it's going to be a huge event. Huge. If they're finding another numbered event in the ring, man, I can't wait. Can't wait.
Okay, and considering the fact that, I mean, let's just face it, it's a good thing we're not pressed for time. I mean, obviously, I carry the longest. I mean, I don't really carry a long leash when it comes down to doing these podcasts because they're often not being put onto audio form. But damn, Jay Wolf can talk so damn long that even the people having a time limit would probably clock you over and just stop.
You know I love this. I can talk about for hours. I want to go more than 3 hours. That's what Joe Rogan does all the time. He's through podcasts of 3 hours long. Why can't we do the same thing? Plus, we got 4 guests, Jay Krish, 4 of them. Can't expect us to wrap everything up in an hour.
We can't afford this shit. Plus, oh, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, Google Podcasts is going to be done by Tuesday of this upcoming week, April 2nd, by the way. If you are a fan of the We Are RIZIN podcast, feel free to check out more about what we got in the description below. But still, though.
This is Focus Fights.
Yes, of course. Still, though, Andrew, you have... Well, actually, no. First of all, give me your thoughts about RIZIN Landmark 9, and then obviously give me your thoughts about give me your overall thoughts about RIZIN 46 coming up.
So I'll say that Landmark 9 is a thumbs in the middle. I don't think it was the worst thing ever. I think I would have to say Landmark 8 was probably slightly better. I have to say this to me, if Landmark 9 is going to be remembered for one thing, it's going to be remembered for only Buakaw versus Kimura. And credit. Listen, better to be remembered for one thing rather than nothing. So as far as I'm concerned, after the fact, yeah, I'm just when we come down to recapping maybe the year or something, I will not remember maybe any fight on this card besides that one fight. So, and I think that should have been the main event. That's just me. So yeah, but overall thumbs in the middle. I don't know what else to say. Watch it on RIZIN TV with no commentary. Captain, didn't you watch it with? Isn't it on? Has no commentary on RIZIN TV, right?
Yes, there's no commentary. I think I forget what the cutoff is, but I'm pretty sure there is at the very beginning. It's the fights that were on Abema or something like that. But yeah, eventually there's no cutoff. There's a cutoff. There's no commentary. It's just straight fight audio with no overlays.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that so far sounds like the best commentary RIZIN's had in a long time. So just kidding. As for 46, I'm looking at the card right now. This is definitely like a card I am insanely looking forward to. Minus Juntaro Ushiku versus Shinobu Ota. That match is gonna be shit. And until that, unless something, I don't know. Like, I have to wait until I see the actual match till I change my opinion, because nothing will. I'm sorry, Jay, but that fight's gonna be fucking horrendous.
We'll see. I think Ota's gonna surprise and shock the world. So we'll see.
Oh, wow, what is he gonna shock the world? What's he gonna do?
It's a superior rule set finish at Ushiku.
Oh, Captain, you weren't here when I brought this up, but I said that J Wolf is like Al Bundy when he keeps on bringing up these like old finishes, like soccer kicks. You know how Al Bundy used to bring up all my 4 touchdowns for Poke High. So and like Ushiku's, well, no, sorry, Ota's superior rule set thing was that
In
was
2023, Drew, isn't it 2023?
no. No. You're talking about the Sone fight. That was in 2021.
He had multiple ones where they had. I'm talking about the one that was the recent one in 2023 where he had. It was a combination of all three that we love: the grounded knees, some stomps, and soccer kicks for the finish. Was that Sone? If so, that was 2021. I thought it was. I thought it was later than that.
Yeah, he has not had a finish like that. That's the only finish that he's had. That's exactly like that. Everything else has been decision or submission.
No, the Kuramoto one was a KO TKO.
Yeah, but that still wasn't superior rule set though.
Also, the Takizawa was a referee stoppage at Super RIZIN 2, and the Ashiwa. We know it wasn't the Ashizawa one, the catfish one. That was just a regular ground and pound one.
Yeah.
So it depends on if it was Takizawa, Kuramoto, or Sone.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not expecting.
But anyway, look, if it is Sone, that's only 2021. That's only 3 years ago. That was on 12/30.
Jesus fuck. 3 years. Listen, I'll give you at least. What was the one that was from 2022 that you brought up? Oh, Kubo. Okay.
Yeah, that's 2 years. That was a year and a half for Kubo. Year and a half for Kubo. 2 years, or a year. Look, that one for Sone was on New Year's Eve of 2021. So that was basically 2022 as well.
No,
so that's. I mean, that's not. You act like it's like ancient history.
It is in MMA terms. Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, no, it's not. Oh geez, okay.
But you keep on bringing them up, like Al Bundy always has to bring up his 4 touchdowns.
No, he's talking about high school, like decades gone by. I'm talking about fights that happened just a couple years ago. I mean, anything that's post 2020 should count.
No,
I mean
anything between 2020 to early. When did like I guess it's maybe I'll say early 2023 pandemic era should be like disqualified. That's
oh my god. That is unofficial. Yeah, okay. No, I don't agree, but whatever. Go ahead. I'll say anything 2019 and before is disqualified. That's too old.
But 46, looking forward to it as of now, and whether I have to see it on RIZIN TV or RIZIN Live, I don't care. But I don't know. I might just order it on RIZIN Live just because I enjoyed the experience so much of watching night on it, and because it's such good quality. It's such a good Japanese commentary is great, and oh my god, it's like it's such a contrast by how awful how little care is given to the English production side.
Yeah, but they talk over Lenny Legend though. How can you stand that? They talk over Lenny Hart's intros. It just that made me so upset. I didn't even care.
I'll say this, I can at least hear them, sometimes in the English thing because they got the audio tuned up so loud for Damien and Joe. I can't even hear Lenny sometimes. Or
Damien and Joe doesn't talk over her. They're quiet while she does her intros.
I know, but the problem is that their audio for some reason is higher, and it's because it's through Zoom. It sometimes Lenny sounds like she's underwater sometimes. Not all the time.
Well, at least you can hear Lenny. At least you don't talk over her.
Here's the thing: when she speaks loud, I can hear her clearly. But when she does kind of like sometimes the soft reverberations, it's sometimes very hard to hear on the English commentary in the past. But yeah, I look forward to seeing RIZIN 46 as of now.
Okay, cool, fantastic, amazing. But now, obviously, we can go ahead on and.
What about Captain? Captain didn't get to say anything about his overall thoughts on Landmark 9 and 46.
Captain, go ahead and give us about RIZIN Landmark 9 and RIZIN 46.
Will do. Unfortunately, I don't think what I have to say is going to be very original. But yeah, Landmark 9 was a decent event that was just marred by production issues. I don't know about the rest of you guys here, but I watched it on tape delay on RIZIN TV. So I, tried my best to avoid spoilers, but a few slipped through. And really that a lot of the fights on here were setups for the future. Guys like Satoshi, Naoki Inoue, they were keeping busy. Neither of their fights were really much of divisional importance, especially in Satoshi's case. That was more of a tune-up after breaking his hand against Pitbull last fall. Or when was it? Oh, no, last July. My bad. And then, of course, the downside of this event was there, led to some question marks for really some RIZIN staples. Rena had kind of a tough night out against, against her opponent. Ersin Yamamoto lost via knee bar in the first round. That kind of cast doubts on where his position is going to be on the roster in the future. And then the sad saga of Minoru Philippe Kimura is now even worse, considering he had to deal with that drug testing saga for the better part of the last 6 or 7 months, only to get KO'd by Bukao. And RIZIN's then going to lose Bukao allegedly to K1 in July. So there was a lot of a lot of threads coming off of Landmark 9. Stuff to look forward to in the future. A couple of careers to watch with skepticism, especially in the case of Ersin Yamamoto and Minoru Kimura. But overall, I thought that it was, kind of a decent landmark. It was a decent landmark card. I know at the beginning of the year on our recap and then look forward to 2024, I said that I think we're going to see more of a division or like more separation between the landmark cards and the numbered cards. And I feel like Landmark 9 and 46 are very much an example of that. Landmark 9 was all right. 46 going into it, there's a lot of great names on there. Chihiro Suzuki, Yaman, Makoto Shinryu, Suchol Kim, high-level guys. Some of RIZIN's best in their respective divisions are going to be taking on pretty healthy competition. And then, of course, there's a few up-and-coming prospects that are getting tested with Victor Kolesnik, Shinobu Ota, and was it Ji-Yong Yang?
Yes.
Yes, against Kazuma Kuramoto. So a couple of up-and-coming guys that we could see shake up their divisions as well. Really what I'm looking most forward to is the crowning of Chihiro, or not the crowning of Chihiro Suzuki, but, you're really only a champion when you first defend your belt. And I feel like that defense against Old Man Kanehara is really going to solidify him as one of RIZIN's bigger stars, and it's going to act as a launch pad for bigger fights in the future, especially towards Jay Wolf's oft-mentioned rematch with Patricio Pitbull sometime this year. And then, of course, on the B side, you have Masanori Kanehara coming back after his retirement, beating Kleber Koike in the main event of RIZIN 44 last fall. That's really, I've really been enjoying Kanehara's one last run, essentially. And as much as I love Chihiro, it would be a sight to see Kanehara claim a belt at his age and against such a young rising star. And it's a perfect, as much as Jay and some others love their long cards, perfect lean 10 fights to set us up for a summer. And I hope to God that I do not have to buy it on RIZIN Live. I want to pay my $20 for my pay-per-view on RIZIN TV and have it play live. That's all I'm saying. I hope it's good. And that's pretty much all I got.
Man, I agree. I mean, of course, watching it through nefarious means ain't really, it's probably better. But then again, it just can't beat the experience of watching a RIZIN event and probably ordering a RIZIN event live, because it basically means that you get the full-blown experience. It just sucks that the Japanese experience was hindered by them talking over Lenny Hart because, of course, as we all can agree on and attest to, she is a legendary woman. But still, though, when it comes down to the whole RIZIN experience, I can say for certain that RIZIN Landmark 6 was basically a fun card to stay up for despite its flaws. And no, wait, actually, RIZIN Landmark 9. What the fuck am I talking about?
You said 6, so you think it's 69.
But still, though, point of the matter is, RIZIN Landmark 9 was fun to sit through, stay up for, and just enjoy because it was over before 6 a.m. Central. So, hey, I enjoyed it. But when it comes down to RIZIN 46, the reason why they got it on April 29th and not May 6th is because of the fact that we all know May 6th is set up for the Naoya Monster Inoue versus Luis Pantera Nery fight at the Tokyo Dome, which is also going to be on ESPN Plus in the States, which is a crying shame because a stadium show that damn big for boxing should not be relegated to an app that barely works like ESPN Plus. But still, though, I mean, you got to think about it. Like I said before, and Andrew, you can attest to this, this year is definitely going to be RIZIN's breakout year to be a legit number 2 or number 3 promotion in the world, especially with the PFL and Bellator being one, well, as in combined, and not like that damn one championship who just keeps finding new ways to stink up the joint, which they will do in Denver and Atlanta later this year. I mean, how many locals are you going to get to figure out who is Superlag or who is Stamp Fairtex? But still, though, I think this year RIZIN has exactly what it takes to be a legit number 2 promotion in the world. And regardless of what many people think, you know, especially about Japanese fight fans in general, I mean, you got to think about this. If RIZIN becomes a number 2 in the world, then it's a wrap. I mean, people ain't going to really care much about the UFC any longer, right? Right?
I mean, well, we'll see. I mean, UFC is gonna. They keep putting on those Apex Shed Warehouse events. You know, they're gonna see their popularity wane considerably. So they're definitely leaving the door open.
I mean, people start complaining.
Well, did you hear Mark Hunt said that UFC won't be around by August? So yeah,
I'm gonna believe Mark Hunt for a second, even though he has his with the UFC. But still, though, I mean, if they keep doing those stupid Apex shows, I mean, what's the point?
Or better yet, making the main event of their first live show in St. Louis in 5 years, Derek Lewis versus Rodrigo Nascimento.
Hey, I don't see nothing wrong with Derek the Black Beast Lewis being in the main event. The dude's a former world title challenger.
Who's he fighting though?
Rodrigo Nascimento.
Who? Shimento? I'm just joking with you. I'm just joking. That's what I think Kappa's point is.
I mean,
and also
Lewis himself said he wanted more 3-round fights. I don't know. It's just it's hard. We can go into UFC going downhill, for hours on end, but. Yeah, like you said, Jay Krish, I hope that RIZIN's able to get a lot of momentum this year. They've started so well from New Year's Eve through Landmark 8, even though it was kind of choppy on the production side. But I'm hoping they can get more momentum and keep it running into the new year, because that would be really nice to see.
Indeed. And that's all basically dependent on whether or not they have a certain big-time boxing rematch under their auspices taking place sometime between July and November.
That's going to be the New Year's Eve headliner. Of course, talk about Money Mayweather Pac-Man rematch. The super fight that Andrew loves so much.
A lot of, ne'er-do-well casual foreign fans just basically taking a shit on the production.
Well, we'll see. They'll probably have it shored up by then, for sure, because they, like I said, the RIZIN TV they want to have it as a subscription service. So you think they're going to want to have a a second-rate streaming platform for us be a subscription service? I don't think so, especially for when they have, Money Mayweather Pac-Man rematch on that. No way. They're going to have that stream sorted out proper, hopefully have ringside commentary back. I mean, we'll see how it goes. They said they're working on it. That was the whole point of them tape delaying it this time. And they gave hints that they might be bringing back ringside commentary later. Maybe hopefully they figured out that that's what the whole freaking problem is with the streaming of the quality is that, they just need ringside commentary, and then they can feed in the HD version and it'll be fine. So we'll see how it goes. And there's, a bunch of other stuff's going to be happening. They would possibly, collaborating with not only BKFC, like we were talking about earlier on the show, also the PF Bellator, we're talking about as well.
Of course, that's because of the fact that Bellator is going to have their final event of 2024 take place at Saitama Super Arena. So it's definitely going to be a big-time RIZIN and Bellator collaboration.
Yeah, and could you imagine Money Mayweather Pac-Man rematch headlining that? Easily pay-per-view worthy.
Absolutely not. I was going to say, no,
come on, dude, you love that match.
No. Yeah. So I think streaming will be obviously, I hope, fixed by then. If it's not, then Jesus, I have nothing to say to that. It is funny that they're what? Sorry.
No, I'm just laughing with you because you're trashing the streaming service not being fixed by New Year's.
Well, I mean, for this one, they said that apparently that the logistics couldn't allow for English commentary. So I assumed, if Kaplan didn't mention that it had no commentary, I would have assumed this entire time. If he never mentioned it once in Discord, I would have assumed that there would have been English commentary on there. So I just think it's funny that they released it without commentary, despite the fact that they said, "Oh, we can't do English commentary because we just can't do it for that arena or whatever it was." Despite the fact that Kobe World Memorial Hall has had English commentary in it multiple times, including RIZIN's past shows. So I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't know what. Just get it fixed. I don't know what else. Get it working, get it fixed. That's all I can say. And hopefully, there won't be any Mayweather Pacquiao match this year.
Get ready, Drew. It's coming. I can't wait for the ESPN commercials on that.
There'll be no commercials. There will be zero commercials.
Oh, I can't wait to prove you wrong on that. I see you proving wrong on that. That's going to command ESPN attention. It's going to be fantastic.
It will absolutely not.
It's going to be an ESPN Plus pay-per-view because the PFL Tour is going to be doing a joint pay-per-view with RIZIN.
Oh, actually, Jay, if you bring up a good point, if they're working with Bellator, what was Bellator on again this time?
HBO Max.
Okay, it's gonna be interesting. So I wonder how they're gonna divvy up. Is it gonna be like half Bellator show, half like they did for Super RIZIN last year, and then half RIZIN show? I'm really curious to know how the show is going to be, I guess, produced. I'm curious to see. It'd be cool if we got RIZIN on HBO Max. That would make watching it so much easier. But there'll be no English. There'll be no ringside commentary. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, but then again, you would have to deal with the PFL's level commentary. You would have to deal with Andy Shepard being the announcer. You would basically have to deal with an entire PFLification, but on the fight kits, hopefully, of RIZIN. So,
actually, it'd be cool if they had. Remember, so for the Super RIZIN show, remember they had the Bellator fights were in the cage, and they took the cage away, and it was like that weird, like literally a squared circle ring that they had.
It was the ring first, and then they had the flying cage above the ring, and they dropped the cage down for the Bellator portion.
So yeah, but then when they removed the way that they built the ring was not the typical ring structure with the sides. I like that. I just like that. I hope they bring that back. I really do.
Oh yeah, because that would save the guys from falling out the ring. The ring fallouts that you love so much.
Hey, listen, I'll take ring fallouts over cage stalling.
Okay, yeah, ring fallouts, ring restarts, corner stalling. I mean, there's so many to counter that the quote unquote cage stalling, the wall install. So Yeah, I don't think you want to do that competition yet.
I think I do. I think I do, but not now.
Yeah. Well, let's go another hour on that. Come on.
Absolutely not, Gable. Absolutely not. You psychopath.
Go ahead, cap it off at 3 hours right here. And before I go ahead and sign off on this, I just want to basically get in some final thoughts with y'all. Jay Wolf, since you like to talk the longest, why don't you close out with your final thoughts and give us ways how people can find you?
Yeah, final thought. I mean, just another fantastic Epic RIZIN event. Just loved it. Just all criticisms aside, of course I want more superior rule set, obviously, like I was telling you, but it was another fantastic show, full of memorable moments, like Drew was saying, not just Buakaw, but the Reina Shim fight was fantastic. Fight of the night between women, on a card, the only women's fight on the card dominated by men, ended up being a fight of the night for the mixed martial arts. And then, of course, I just love seeing Satoshi-san just absolutely, carry the event with a soccer kick TKO. I mean, with one of the best grappling fighters in the game, the flyweight division, scoring a sensational superior rule set TKO like that, just fantastic to see. So I can't wait for 46 to watch you guys. Hopefully get all the streaming issues figured out. Hopefully get the fighters to know the assignment, beforehand. I just can't wait for the future of RIZIN and all the collaborations coming up. Can't wait to do that. I mean, and then they're doing collaboration with the PFLs or Bellator. We'll be talking about that on Teeth to the Junk show. That's one of the places you can find me. We're going to be doing a preview show coming up. The Bellator, the PFL season that's going to be starting next week. We're doing a show as of this recording. It'll be Sunday night, Easter Sunday night. Once again, happy Easter to everybody out there that celebrates. He is risen. He is risen indeed. And then also, just if you want to check me out again, check out that Teep to the Junk show. It's on this YouTube channel, Random Acoustic Thoughts. And then also you can follow me. Thank you for that banner right there on the Discord. That's the first thing. That's the RIZIN Discord. So fun. I like talking there more than anywhere else because it's not public. You can talk. We talk there. We're allowed to talk trash, allowed to troll, allowed to have a good time with everybody. And it's a lot of fun. That's where we get most of the breaking news anyway. It happens in there, and so it's a lot of fun. Join that Discord. And then on the banner that you had there for me before, I also had my Twitter @. It's another place where you can find me, and that's @JAYYOLF1. That's 2 Y's. It's misspelled on purpose. That's how you know it's me from way back in the day when I first started commentating on the Yahoo message boards, way back in the mid-2000s. That's how you know it's the same Jay Wolf. I'm not going to change it. It's easy to search everything. You search me out right there. You find me. Follow me, I'll follow you right back. All you got to be is a real person. I just don't sick of those, spam bots on Twitter. I don't follow none of those, but if you're a real person, I'll follow you right back. You can DM me, everything. So and you, Jay Krish, Focus Fights. It's another place where you can find me. Obviously, I love doing these Focus Fights shows with you. Like I said, I could keep talking for another hour if you want to do another show. But I'm looking forward to doing the RIZIN 46 preview and review with you on Focus Fights, hopefully, and or even on the Real RIZIN podcast. Also, you can also check me out there. Sometimes I get to be Drew, and let me be a guest on that show as well. I absolutely love doing those shows. That's the only ones I'll do with video and stuff, is because it's about the Epic RIZIN. Just really, really have a good time doing those with you. So you guys check me out there, and again, thank you, Jay Krish, for having me on. It's a lot of fun. Thank you to the other guests, Captain and Drew, for coming on and talking with me. It's just a blast. I don't want to end. I want to go another hour.
Of course. But since my phone is about to die out, let's go ahead on the closing thoughts. Captain, you go next.
All right. So thank you all for having me on. It was great talking Landmark 9. Even for all the trouble that it had, it was still a pretty decent card to stay up and watch, or check out the much improved Japanese stream if you got it on VOD. As for my socials, it's up on the screen here, Cap'n99 on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm also on the RIZIN Discord server as Cap'n or Cap'n _. Yeah, it's a fun place to hang out, as Jay already said. Talk JMMA, pro wrestling, whatever you want. Just give me an ad on there. And yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Hopefully I can see everybody again soon for RIZIN 46 next month.
No problem. Andrew, you're up.
Oh yeah, We Are RIZIN Pod is the We Are RIZIN podcast Twitter. Benja1 on Twitter, X, whatever. Yeah, 46 is looking to be a great show. So looking forward to all the discourse that comes from it, and even more unhealthy discourse if it somehow is not able to be on RIZIN.tv.
Of course. So I guess that leaves me. Well, first of all, I thank y'all for. Obviously, first of all, again, I have to apologize that this show didn't end any sooner because I overslept. Like, I really tripped over my own alarm on that one. But still, though, I overslept because I had a previous interview obligation with somebody from the reality of wrestling in my neck of the woods. I will be posting that interview and an interview that I did weeks ago with Katrina Cat Blake over the next week because, of course, this time next week, WrestleMania will be going into like hour 3 of a 4-hour part 1 of an 8-hour 2-day buy one get one free extravaganza. But still, though, the point of the matter is, it's hard to believe that we are. It's like people always say, spring has sprung. And this is a damn good time for the world of combat sports. And I think that when it comes down to it, we're going to have a lot of big time fights coming up, in 2024. And this it's hard to believe that we are only a quarter of the way through the year so far. And we already got a lot more to, look forward to be honest with you. But still, though, man, J Wolf, Andrew, Cap'n, it's been fun. I really appreciate y'all joining me despite the circumstances. But still, though. Oh, and by the way, before I even think about closing out, obviously you can see on the banner, check out my links, which includes my Facebook, my Twitter, my revamped Twitter account for the time being because the elongated muskrat is a POS because he hasn't done anything to help restore my previous account, getting rid of all the two-factor authentication issues. And, of course, my fan page. All in the description, as well as all the Focus Fights links. And obviously, like Jay Wolf said, Happy Easter. If you're going to services tomorrow, if you're going to basically celebrate Easter, make sure to do it safely, because I know that somebody's going to be watching. Even if it's not a guardian angel. But still, though, point of the matter is, I'm done. Jay Wolf's done. Captain's done. Andrew's done. That's it from us for now. We thank y'all for tuning in and checking out what we have in store with Focus Fights and Focus Fights Audio. And we hope to be back with y'all next time. And as we always end it off, as the great Lenny Hart always likes to say...
Pride never die. Pride is rising.
Damn right it doesn't. Peace, y'all.
Peace.
See you, everybody.